we're back with another episode of Survivors of Tarnstead. We're going to start in our usual manner of introduction. First up, we have Blackheart as...
Carrick Marsh.
We have Kronos as...
Jackson Rodskala.
We have Hedden as...
Tilde.
We have Marcus as...
Corvus Sutherland.
We have Sammy as...
Gifting Greysteel.
We have Tobias as...
SPSP is still shot.
We have me, Yuri, as your friendly DM. I'm just going to do a quick little recap of the previous session. Essentially, all that really happened was the group deciding that they were going to go down to the research labs and talk more in depth with the magic and potentially spirit. But midway, Corvus has gone off to retrieve some equipment that he had abandoned on the battlefield, only to discover that travelling through that area, there were strange crystalline constructs growing both in the empty and in that area. Some panicked travel over there later. The group were examining the area, seeing what it did, which seemed to have some strange reactions with both magic and life forces. However, they discovered that after moving away from it, it seemed to start going inert. They met a person called Ursglas, who appeared to be acting as an Lemurian Reaper, despite not being angelic, who told them that this is very similar to some of the stuff that happened 20 years ago in Noran, and that she believed that they could learn more by contacting her counterpart, her other self, who was part of that entire thing and survived. Handed them items to try and help to scry with before leaving them be. At that point, the group decided they would travel back using magical means, only their mistwalk had faded off because of the magic around the area, and we just left off with Fowler removing some chalk and other magical reagents from her pocket to do a teleportation circle. Alright, and it is with that, yes, Fowler indeed does pull some stuff from her pocket to start getting a teleport circle down. It's not the exact spell. There seems to actually be a sort of direct connection between this one and another one, just as a cheaper alternative. But having done a very quick scratching into the ground, she looks up and goes, "Right, everybody ready?"
No, yeah.
I am ready.
Everyone in?
Yes.
Gonna smirk at Lucifer as we get into the circle, because really Lucifer could have been there already.
Lucifer just sort of crosses his arms a bit and looks at you, smirking, and just goes, "Oh, I'm just making sure you get back safe before I travel the much faster way."
Show offs. Every one of you is a show off.
Are you really surprised?
I do.
You are one to talk.
It's all about the theatre of it, dear sister.
Is an excellent point.
Mm-hmm. I'd do it too if I could. All right.
Right. Okay, with all of you crowded in this ring that Fowler has drawn, she says a couple of magic words, and there is a flash, and you find yourselves back in Fowler's home, which you've not been in before.
Aldo, have you kidnapped us?
Oh, no, I'd take you somewhere else if I was doing that.
Oh. Well, I'm worried that you have thoughts of that, but okay.
This is the quickest, easiest way for me. I sometimes have trouble remembering the circuit for our city. Please, I would offer you hospitality, but I have none to give. So let's get back.
Yes, being as that you do not drink or eat. Yes, I understand.
She smiles softly and starts leading you through her apartment, which is very sparsely decorated. There's actually some little bits of like bookshelves with research equipment and such on them, but it all looks very underused, as if this place does not actually see much use in general. Yes, she will probably lead all of you back on course to go to the magical. I think was what was happening. I don't quite remember. We were
leading with the magical later in the night, and we were supposed to
yes, that might be it.
Handling random stuff.
Yes,
around.
That's probably right. I'm a little disrupted from last week, so I cannot quite remember the order of things.
Yeah, we were gonna meet with them because the magical was gonna be arranged a place for them to
That's
stay,
right.
and we were handling post because the fight literally wound down. And
Yes.
we're dealing with all our forces and whatever.
Okay, in that case, she'll lead you out and sort of look to the rest of you and go, well, would you all like a chance to recuperate, perhaps?
Might not be a bad plan.
Yes, that might not be a bad idea.
In that case, I will see you later tonight. Enjoy the fine city now that we do not have a pressing doomsday on our doorstep.
Will be nice.
She just gives you a sort of little nod and acknowledgement before she starts heading off herself, leaving you all standing in the middle of a street.
I should go check in on my forces and on Scrim. Till we'll see if we can find anything out about where that ship went down.
Yes, I have been trying to keep an eye on the information while I was attempting to assist earlier.
Shall we?
I will have to go.
Okay. In that case, if the two of you want to head off to basically, gather up information, check on your own troops, and see about the the massive ship crash.
I just check in on Scrim and my people. I'm basically doing a forces check.
You'll want to head with, or does everyone else want to split off on their own thing?
I'll follow.
Hello?
I'll follow.
Follow for now.
Okay.
Corvus will head back to the ship. Guessing that's where Echo is.
Echo is not at the ship right now. No.
I think she was somewhere in town, was she not?
You don't know.
You don't know where Echo is right now. So you can go back to the ship to look for her if you so please.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Right, so you go do that. Meanwhile, everyone else, you are not going to the command center. You're actually going directly to where the sort of Barassi forces were stationed, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Where there's actually a little bit of celebration going on here. You can see a few men are drinking from like little tin cups. There seems to have been a few bottles of alcohol gotten out that was brought with.
Yeah, I would have made sure we had something to celebrate with.
It's got that sense of there's that underlying thing of like we've lost some people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But overall, for these, because quite a few of these are experienced soldiers, this was a good day.
Also, considering what we faced,
yes,
that was surprisingly light losses.
Yeah, this was a good day. There's as you're approaching, you can actually hear a few calls to the dead and the brave, and you even see that James is here with them. Seems to be talking to a couple of the actual officers in the unit who are ignoring how disheveled the men are getting. As you wander on over, there's a round of cheers for you all. Someone shouts out, to the general, and in general, you get a very nice greeting as Raziel smiles towards you all.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't expect to see you back so soon. Everything okay?
Oh, no,
Not really, no.
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 Where's
You remember
Corvus?
the thing?
You haven't lost Corvus, have you?
He's gone to the ship. You remember this thing from 20 years ago? 25 years ago.
Remember quite a few things, but
The invasion.
yes, okay.
The Black Rocks from Noran.
Are here?
Yes,
Mm.
at the site where we fought the dragon.
There's a
Google
momentary
Scrap.
squinting. I'm not sure I see the correlation between the physical and that, but
All we know is Corvus went through his little empty way because he was in a panic to go get his gun. And apparently the empty gateway got stuck open by one of those big rocks spearing out of the empty. And there was a whole bunch there. Osglass? What was her name?
Celeste.
Usglass?
Eliza
yeah.
Funnels Glass?
Yeah, the Knot Reaper.
Yes.
Anyway, she was there and told us to get away from it so we wouldn't make it get worse. The mental believes that the metal that we were using, that we recalled, remember from all the we had that the metal is the use of it is tearing away at the fabric of reality.
Disconcerting.
Yes,
Just a touch, yes.
Yeah.
Do you think the dreamer is aware of this property, of his gift?
Probably not.
I don't know.
Cutie seemed fairly aware of us as a people to begin with. I doubt it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Raz was given stuff made from this, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I had given him
Yeah.
that.
He is actually going to take his off because he did not hand it in as it was being collected. Because of course he wouldn't. And he's going to sort of look it over before holding it out to you, Shaxon.
Jax will put his hand calmly, take it, and he will store it in a bag.
I have my concerns, considering how much of the plan hinged on things the dreamer told us needed to happen.
And did it actually help?
Yes.
Seemed to make it so it
I don't
our
know.
blows. Near as I can tell, it seemed like the blows rang more true, and from the hits we were taking from the dreamer, I assumed they would be much worse without that.
So it's definitely a potency to it, but whether it's a Trojan horse or not, still. He doesn't say Trojan horse, he says it's something that's fancy equivalent, but you know.
What my greater concern
Iranian horse.
is the directions we had received from the dreamer was also to use these to anchor the heavens.
That's a lot
And-
more concerning, yes.
Yes, and I don't know what I believe anymore.
Shaxon.
Hmm.
You're a clever man. Perhaps work with the others to see if there is a way that would actually work without destroying things.
That is what I was intending at this point. That and figuring out how to power down the pylons my people had built around the country to drain the Fae. I want to remove them, but I don't want to do it in a way that will risk damaging and backfiring on either Hexenreich or the Fae.
He nods and, well, whether the dreamer is trying to manipulate us or whether this is, well, it's new that you figured something out to abate the nasty effects of this stuff. I don't know, but what you can find out and we'll correct
not be
our
advised.
plans from there.
I mean, it's also something I have to keep in mind. The dreamer is Corvus, and Corvus doesn't care about these kind of things as much. So
Moreover, Corvus does not see the minutiae, he only sees the grand motion of the idea.
yeah, and
So these would be the minutiae.
It may be that of that mindset, the dreamer's taking what it knew from Corvus at the time and takes blunt options to get what it desires.
It is unfortunate it does not have another avatar.
I'm still not entirely convinced that it's a truth in itself, but
Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if we've actually ever talked to the dreamer.
It is possible we have talked to multiple beings who are one, but separate minds.
that's entirely
Maybe.
possible as well. It could be a faceted thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
How are the men doing?
Well, considering the amount of healing that was put into the wounded, and this will sound callous of me, but how little we've lost compared to most warfare that happens, they're in good spirits.
I heard we lost 10.
He nods.
And Scrim's forces, how'd they fare?
Scrim's forces fared quite well. They certainly lost a few. I don't know the exact amount because he did not deign to share how many they brought with or lost on the field. But Scream and his men are in particularly good spirits. He sort of motions towards the sort of back of this area where it's this weird mix of like they've got some of the Faramir buildings, but they've set up their own sort of tenting and such around them in them. He motions towards the back of the camp and goes, "They're stationed a little past. Go see him, see how he's doing."
Yeah, I'm planning on doing that. Thank you for holding things together here. I just had this weird paranoia that something was gonna happen, and I am so glad you were here.
I'm sure they would have fared fine without me, but
No, they wouldn't have. They would have been lost without you, brother.
entirely.
I know these things.
What about the rest of you? How are you feeling? How are you faring?
I look over at Garrick.
I feel like fishing bait.
A little beat up still, but not too worse for wear.
I'm a bit anxious about a few things. We heard that Hevday has been sighted. He is causing trouble for the Emorian types. We officially know that the Warforged do, in fact, have the ability to be ghosts.
And there's a very large one running around now.
Oh,
Yes.
then will help
angrily.
us. That
Yes,
must be. He actually looks over you at Telday. There must be comforting news in a way.
I am unsure, but it does feel like what he would have wanted.
I mean, it's good to know that there is something after for you.
We
For it.
a bunch of the Faramirian forces are making sure the areas are secured and such, but I believe they're going to try to start looking through the wreckage of that ship on the morrow.
That is probably a good idea.
Yeah, we probably want to make sure the area is a bit more secure, but we want to see if there's any
Sign of him.
anything. Yeah. I'm not pat my tummy. I'm a little worried about the kids. But you know, nothing that some family time can't help, I'm sure.
Why don't you go home? I mean, the day is one. I can, if you would permit me to act as a subordinate to you on a temporary basis, I can handle things here for you.
Subordinate. I believe that I was going to be your familiar, sir.
That's how things have turned around.
I guess I'll just have to make sure that you're adequately supplied with food room.
I mean, you could all do with a little trip home.
Maybe. We've got a meeting tonight, though, with the mental. You come for that? You want to be in a room with a very scary cosmic being?
I could certainly be
The
there
hell
if you
has
want
a
me to.
Oh.
And with respect, any home I had has either been a substitute or long since destroyed. So I am just as well here as anywhere else.
If you'd have me, I would happily attend the meeting.
I would gladly have you. I'm gonna go check in on Scrim, but I will take your counsel. Maybe after everything's done tonight, I will nip back home. I don't want to leave anybody in the lurch right now.
He nods and
I think I will take the wise counsel of the great god Amor or Ilan and you know, look out for myself a bit.
got told off, did you?
Oh, quite, and probably rightly so.
He smiles and nods and goes, "Yes, and listen to the wise old god."
Yeah. You know, both of us could probably learn a bit from that.
Oh no, I'm far above that.
That's right. Yeah, you always are. I'm gonna give him a hug. All right. You continue to work in my stead, sir.
Of course, he pops you a little salute. General?
Pop him a salute. General?
No, not a general.
How
Civilian
far can I promote
liaison.
you? How far far can I promote you up the ladder?
Technically, you can't at all because I'm not in the military.
Oh, actually, I know entirely what to do. I'm gonna start taking my little badge off.
He's actually going to take hold of your shoulders and just turn you around and push you towards Scream's camp.
I'm going to tag along with Gifton. I think you could actually draft him and then promote him.
Oh, I'm not doing that to him.
I'm not sure after you've retired from the military if you can be drafted. You might have to look at the laws.
Actually, he might be able to be recalled.
All right.
At this point, it will be difficult.
All right, let's go check in on Scrim. If anybody wants to come with, of course,
Right.
and then wave at Raz on the way. Take care of things for us, James.
Of course. Heading through the Barassian camp to get to the Goliaths, you are sort of mobbed by soldiers. Like, you get the groups coming up to you, you get the arms around the shoulders, plenty of offering of drinks. Which are being served up in a mix of mess cups, some actual nice glasses somebody found. Like there's this. As at one point, the group of you are brought up a medley of cups that are served on like a ammunition crate's lid that's being used as a tray.
Oh, this is great. This is good stuff. I'm very thankful. Thanks. That's awesome. Hey, do you guys prefer ales or meads or what do you guys like? Because I'm gonna send out for some.
You're gonna get a mix of responses.
All right.
I think they would like stuff with alcohol in it.
Everything.
Tell them take down the requests.
Yeah. You hear what even one of the voices that actually sounds a little more refined than the others, just sort of silent. It says wine.
All right, wine it is.
Okay, if you want to actually take requests from the soldiers, this is going to be quite a bit of alcohol, but
No, I'll take requests.
I'll take them.
Take the requests all day.
Okay. All right. You.
I will actually pull out my book.
Start writing an alcohol order.
Start writing it down.
Okay. If you are willing to spend a platinum piece, you can get a few barrels, bottles, and whatnot brought through.
I'm willing to spend 3 platinum pieces on food and drink for my men and to share with any of the other local parties. Because we're not the only mortals here.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's gonna be a skeleton trying to join in, and we know this.
stuff that'll travel well.
I mean, he's probably willing because that would be comedic as all hell.
good sausage and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like it's
Okay.
things that it might not be the fanciest affair, but I want to get just order a bunch of just bread and that and
Right.
something good.
In that case, if you want to do that, you are actually able to leave said list with. You can use either one of the comm officers here. You could use James. You could save this until you get back to the council chambers and put it through the radio there.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do to put the order through.
I'll use one of my young officers because
Okay.
we got them.
He will relay that very excitedly then.
And I'll give him 3 platinum pieces and say, get it run through.
He will give you a weird look at that because
and I'll tell him, and also make sure the boys share with all the other regular camps around here. Okay?
when you actually try to offer him free plat, he'll give you a weird look and go, "Ma'am, they'll take it out. You pay."
I get paid?
Yes, ma'am. You do, right, ma'am?
I don't know. They never told me anything about that. They just told me to go here and do this.
James is going to look at you and goes, "Yes, you realise you get monthly pay, right?"
You got paid?
Yes.
Huh.
Just go to the bank in Wyndon. You'll be able to collect your pay.
How much do I make?
In general, you should make a decent. Let me look at the monthly. Let me look at the monthly cost. Hang on, 1 second.
I can look into it if you would like, man.
You'll make a X amount per month.
I make some
You make
amount
a
per
certain
month.
number here.
Nowhere near 3 platinum. I'll tell you that.
No, it's not free platinum for sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm pretty sure my wages won't cover that. So here, it's like get it covered. I'm good for it. They know it. I've got money for it. So I'm
But yeah,
fine.
basically, the you'll be able to arrange for the military to either cover it or take it from your bank thing. You don't actually need to send physical currency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they will handle that, and then
Yes.
I'm gonna head off to Scrim's camp.
Yeah. Okay. So leaving, the Uncom was very happy that this has all been ordered. You make your way to Scrim's camp, which there's its own celebration going on over here.
I ordered, make sure to order lots of hearty ales because I know the freaking Scrim does not like the sweet shit.
Which approaching their camp, you'll see that a lot of the Warforged regulars are over here. It's quite a sweet sight, almost, as the Southerners seem to have just taken it that they are now part of them. They are being treated just the same as everyone else. Which includes
a lot of punching.
Yeah, I was going to say it does include there are physically wrestling going on with groups sort of cheering it on. But as you approach, there's a moment where the sort of rowdiness quietens down, and a few heads turn towards Scrim, who is just sitting in a sort of hastily thrown together chair, basically a stack of boxes up against a larger box with some covering cloth and so on, which Scrim will start approaching towards you before he looks at you, Gifton, and just goes, we lost some today. Was it in...
Sorry.
He shakes his head. Do not tell me sorry. Tell me it was for good reason.
The dragon fell.
The dragon fell, the city. Dragon fell, the city stands, and the armor is routed.
He actually turns to his men and spreads his arms wide and just goes, the dragon fell, the city stands, from the lips of the mighty one herself. And there's a sort of chuckle, but there's cheers to that. And
he's just gonna squint. Is that a new bad nickname I just got?
I would not call it a bad nickname. I'd say it is quite true. They're well aware that you have bested me.
I'm also fairly certain you didn't just get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fold my arms, look angry. Cross.
He actually looks over at you, Telday, and just goes, you wish to join us. You're fellows. They fit in well. They don't drink so much, but they know how to celebrate.
I will stay for a brief time.
Good.
Sure.
All of you, you're more than welcome to stay with us.
I'm set for good food and good drink. Some strong alcohol, not the sweet stuff. So my men will be bringing it over.
Is that an invitation?
It is.
Then we will bring some of our own as well. He actually motions over where they do have a couple. It's not big barrels, but they have some, drink here that they brought through with them. Until yes.
Thank you for you and yours coming. We couldn't have done this without you.
I'd like to consider this as a matter of settled honor.
I think I owe you debt at this point.
He shakes his head and goes, and actually sort of goes, well, you beat me quite shamefully on my part. You also saw the reunitation of my children. You did not take me away from my people. I owed you. I likely still do, but I am hoping you will forget the rest.
I think I motion at Carrick and the rest. I think they beat you. I don't think I did, but
he looks to the rest of the group and gives an acknowledging nod, even as he's saying, "Yes, they did, but the leader gets to take the glory."
That's how it goes.
And if you do not think that is you, then you are a little blind.
I can't really fight that when I'm wearing a general suit. By the way, the Baratheon blue suits.
This makes you quite the target.
Yeah, I probably look quite hittable right now, right? Yeah. Well,
That's probably one bonus part of
I'm
the
glad to
idea.
see. I'm glad to see your people doing well.
It has been a exhilarating experience. Many fell under their glory today. Sadly, I am not amongst them, but I shall take tales of them back home.
That's the duty of the leader, right?
Of course.
There is a man in that town. I motion over it for Amir. From the Southlands, and I know it would do a lot for him to see people from there again.
A dead man?
Oh, he's made of wood.
Yes.
Was a Goliath though.
But
he's dead. Yeah, I suppose.
If you think we would be permitted to wander, it would be good to go see somebody from home.
I will ask. I know they are always nervous about the living in their city, as they seem to think that we will cause trouble, and they might be right.
They would be correct.
Yeah, we do.
I will have my men behave as best as they can, but I cannot promise anything.
May we join over here for a bit, or
of course.
would you
come, drink, eat. The food is not that good, but it is still something.
Yeah, that's still something.
Right. With that, you are able to join the Goliaths and the Warforged in their little celebration, if you so wish.
Sure, I will do that.
Which is a lot more singing and general rowdiness than you get in the Brassian camp. Yeah.
Make a lot of ice just quietly with no reason.
We gotta teach them Barassians how to celebrate a victory.
It's fine. Once all that alcohol gets over there, that's gonna change.
Talday and Shaxon.
Mm-hmm.
Conchecks.
You are actually both going to be pulled into a group that contains quite a few of the Warforged, which the Warforged seem to be talking about. Talday. They introduce him, and they motion towards your arm, Shaxon, which one of the Warforged goes, "Your arm, artificial but alive, yes."
Mm-hmm. It is.
We were saying that, him, and he motions to one of the Goliaths who looks rather shamanistic, has a lot of sort of these carved bone tokens hanging around him, which clearly have magical runes on it. He's saying he has seen such a thing before, and it is quite like us, in a way.
That would stand to reason, I think. It is something along the same lines. It is technically my spirit possessing the same as there is your spirit possessing in a different fashion as to the body you now inhabit. Excusing the crass wording of it.
Oh, no. It is fine. Talday.
Yes.
What would you say if one of us were made of wood?
I am unsure of the meaning of your question.
This is metal, and they tap their arm. What if it were a different material? Would we still be one of us? What defines us as a people?
I do not know. It is whatever we wish, I suppose. If you wish to be made of wood, or something like it, I do not see why it would be different.
It is much the same as what defines someone as being Brassian, what defines someone as being as being a Hexenreicher. It is what you choose to be defined by. If you choose to have it that as a Warforged you must be made of metal, then that is what defines you. If you choose that your spirit and your being within is what matters, then that is what matters.
Like the Foramirians choose to define as being Foramirian as not being a living construct anymore.
I think what is important is those you find a bond with, whatever the bond is.
A few of the Warforged nod at that as another pipes out. Your people are over your place. And we have lost our place, but we still have our people.
Hmm.
Some of them, at least.
How many have we lost?
Only 2. But it is 2 that we are too few in number to count that as minor.
I would love to hear about any of them.
Okay.
About all of you.
Right. In that case, so they can sit and be regaled with tales of the fallen, and people just sort of introducing themselves to you. Shaxon, you're happily included in this if you want to stick around with it. But the shaman does seem to be quite interested in your arm, and will actually start inquiring how you got it and so on, because it is an art they never learned to do.
Jax will actually be very honest and explain that it was a gift from the Fey King.
Okay. Want you, Shaxon, can you give me a persuasion check?
Sure, just like. I have to make sure I set to advantage because I have that.
Okay. In friendly conversation with this shaman who isn't like, he's not just trying to get information, he just seems to generally enjoy the talk itself. You'll learn that the last woodworker, they actually call them, despite it being a very mundane term, it's a sort of shamanistic art, was lost. Can you guess how long ago?
Gosh, it might have been like 70 years ago.
Yes.
His name might have been Bull.
Jax will actually let him go. I'm going to wager it was roughly 70 years ago I am going to guess somewhere near one of the raids on the village of Tarnstead, yes?
Tarnstead. I'm not sure about the term, but yes, it was a village raid. 70 years ago would be about right. A little more now.
You may well be interested to know is that if you overheard what the conversation that we had with your man Scrim, that the one we talked about in the city might very well be one and the same.
I love your man Scrim about their grand leader.
I quickly ran through a couple things and calling him Hair Scrim and that sort of thing didn't seem quite correct.
No, I'm just saying.
It's basically would be put in a more random just player couldn't think of a good way to put it.
He, for his part, does not actually seem hugely shocked. He just nods his head slowly and goes, it does make sense that the spirits would lead us here to him then.
I think from how he talked about what happened with everything, that he would be very happy to see you all.
I must ask the war chief that we go visit him.
And if the city does not let you go visit, I will make inroads to having them allow him come out to see you at the very least.
He nods and seems quite pleased by this revelation. And yeah, you can spend the rest of the time here in just pleasant conversation.
And Jax will, for his part, actually be politely inquiring about some of the rune work on the bone totems, that sort of thing, because it is actually something similar to the rune work on the armor and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's along that same line of work, essentially.
Yeah. He basically, you're actually going to learn a bit. In fact, I want you to give me just a straight intelligence check, please.
Okay. Okay, there you go. I didn't mean to have advantage on that. But...
18. Okay. You actually learn the sort of basic rudimentaries of the Goliath means of casting their shamanistic arts. Not enough to really put into practice, but you got the principles there.
I was going to ask, actually, like right before you started to explain it, if I flash it up to being at 27, would that be any different?
Yes. I would say, I would give you.
Yeah, I obviously won't get like mastery or anything like that, but like just a little more information for him to basically figure stuff out.
Yes, basically, this will give you like the not the practical practice of it, but it will give you the education that they would give one of their own.
Mm.
Okay.
Yes, and Shax actually will be returning questions on like certain things, asking probably a bit surprising of like the A to B to C that someone wouldn't expect from someone just being introduced to it.
Basically, what you get from this, if you flash it, is if matters pertaining to their style of casting and such comes up later, you actually have a fairly good chance of knowing what's going on.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely flash the link because that's actually interesting to have.
Okay. Cassie.
Yes.
You're being flirted with. One of the younger soldiers here, who introduced himself as Carl. Carl. Yep.
One of the Hexenreichs or one of the Barassians?
Barassian. He actually not Barassian. Goliath. Although like he does seem to be mixed race. There is sort of dashes of red in his beard that suggests Barassian heritage. Small for a Goliath, although that's still quite big. Got a lovely sort of fresh cut running down his arm. That's just sort of wrapped, probably going to scar. You think he might want that to happen?
It's like it's wrapped badly on purpose. Shifty eyes.
But yeah, he is basically he's talking to you nicely. But he is definitely like posturing, like he's leaning to show off some muscles. And he's just going, "They've heard that you are a fine warrior yourself."
I am. Or have been. Kinda am.
You
more of a carpenter, but and Cass is just going to smile at him.
Perhaps you would like to join me in a little feat of strength.
Oh, what do you have in mind?
You are good at chopping wood. You're a carpenter, you say?
Yes.
Perhaps we could see who could fell something the quickest.
And what are you looking to fell?
That he actually looks around, seems dismayed about all of the stonework structures around here and so on. Before he sort of points out over a couple of the sort of thicker like tent poles that they're using to just prop up some tarpaulin stuff here, some animal hide. We could see who could cut for those quicker.
You want to chop down a tent?
Oh, make it sound not so glorious. We'd have to go outside for trees.
What would break first? The tent pole or Scrim coming out and breaking both of us?
Yes. No, the war chief probably would not be happy. You all right?
No, I've challenged him once. That hurt. That hurt a lot.
Yes, I expected you to be. He sort of flexes again, like as if showing more muscle, bigger.
Yeah, there were kind of a couple incidents, and I got kind of shrunk a little bit. I got washed in cold water.
That's no matter. You are still mighty warrior. You are very pretty.
Cass's eyebrow goes up, and she's looking at him. Pretty, you say?
Yes, you have beautiful features.
Good hips.
Cass is looking around for like a table that's sturdy nearby.
Your eyes, they burn with fire of war. You are magnificent.
Yuli, is there a sturdy table nearby? One that would survive arm wrestling or something like that?
There's crates that are set up as tables. You could definitely use that.
And she's going to look at him and go, "You're talking a really big game."
I am big man.
Oh man, is this anywhere nearby? I'm in earshot.
Yeah, sure.
Oh great, cool. I'm casting guidance on this guy. Good luck, buddy.
Yes, you have contest in mind?
Yeah, I'm going to drag him. I'm going to walk him over to one of the tables and sit down in a arm wrestling position.
Actually, I'm throwing bless. Fuck yeah.
Grand. And he'll come join you sitting down, and he clasps your hand with his. Right.
You could bless both for comedy.
No.
And Cass is actually going to pull the bow out of her hair and wrap both hands.
No, wait.
You're not breaking this. We're going until one falls.
Actually, I think it would need to be the other one because I think guiding has to be it because it's a check.
Yes, it has to be guidance.
Yeah. The guidance.
So this is...
He goes, it's not true contest without prize.
Oh, and
Give him a roll, hey.
What are you thinking?
Hey, Gift is really drunk right now.
He actually glances over that way and grins a bit and goes, if you would permit it, the most valuable prize. A kiss from you.
And what do I get if I win from you? And what do I get from you if I win?
He actually leans in a bit and goes, I don't know. What do you desire?
You're going to help me cut down a tree.
Actually...
Oh no, Cass, please phrase it as, I need some wood.
Well, you'll assist me with a project of mine.
That's a little vague.
I've been told to follow the spirits to find a tree. I need wood. I need specific and you know more about the spirits of the land than I do.
I don't know. I'm not a spirit talker, but I can help you find a tree.
Then let's go.
All right. Unfree.
Let me get up my... Ooh. There's just a lot of stuff that suddenly came up. Strength check, or what do you want?
We're gonna do this as a straight strength check. Actually, let's do it athletics. 1 second.
Okay.
I want acrobatics, arm wrestling.
That'd be amazing.
1 second.
Nature, because you and him, baby, ain't nothing but mammals.
But unfortunately, the Discovery Channel doesn't exist yet.
Also, just because Gibson's vested in this, totally woeing the shit out of Cassie on this. Yeah, -2.
Right. So, -2 on Cass.
D4 plus on him.
Plus D4 on him. Alright, Cass. Okay, straight athletics check, please.
Gifted and Dingus were over there singing in Faye. La 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 la.
Aw, poor boy. He could have done well, but he did not.
He did not.
Did I just throw him over?
No. Are you trying to throw him over?
Well, he wanted to challenge.
Are you trying to throw him over?
Because
that involves very specific movement from you.
Sadly, I'm not in range to give him a flash of genius, and that wouldn't help enough anyways.
Yeah.
No, I'll just take him down.
Yeah. Okay. With that check, do you want to play it up, or do you want to just go straight bam?
I'm gonna ham it.
Okay, you ham it a bit. Are you trying to disguise your hamming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, give me a performance check, please. Okay, so yeah, it's decent enough. He actually thinks like he has a chance, but you force his hand down, and
just as Cass's hand is about to hit the ground, her other hand goes up, and she just starts rocking, hoping she can get people cheering even louder if people are watching.
There's a couple of guys watching. Most are sort of doing their own thing, but there's a few watching. And
Gibson lets out a aww.
When his hand hits the table, they let out a sort of cheer. You get the feeling they would have cheered whoever won. But he goes, well, indeed, you are quite mighty, as they say. So, I owe you a tree.
And Cass is going to unwrap hands. Yeah. When we go back, if you would help me, I would appreciate it.
It would be my genuine pleasure to spend time helping you follow the voice of the spirits.
Reaching, once her hair's bowed up, she's instantly reaching across the the box, grabbing his head, pulling him in, and kissing him on the forehead.
He seems for a moment he looks excited, as if like, oh, she's actually putting me in for a kiss. This is great. But for a kiss, there is a little bit of disappointment on his face, a little bit of confusion.
Gifton again. Aww.
And
quick, someone explain that's the most affection she's shown for anyone.
he sort of touches his forehead briefly before going, well then, you come to our camp and I will take you out. I will be eagerly awaiting. That is, unless you want to do another feat of strength tonight.
You gotta woo me a bit more.
I am good at that. He's going to get up, offer up a hand to you, and he will just spend some time talking with you, and clearly trying to get you to drink as much as he is.
Does he really want to try to drink Cass under the table?
He's definitely trying something.
Goliath, of course, drinking you under the table is still on the table for him. They're used to drinking everybody under the table, except for RG.
As this Goliath continues to spend the rest of his time trying to get Cassie into his tent, Carrick and Gifton, you've been plied with plenty of drink, and Scrim sort of keeping you company, introducing you to men that seem to be his equivalent of lieutenants and so on. Doesn't use those terms, but they're his sort of trusted warriors. And one of them actually point to Dingus and go, "Is this the fabled dragon that beat you, Scrim?" And he goes, "No, there are more dragons than that in their party. She transformed into one. He's dragon blood," and points at you, Carrick.
Should nod.
Dingus is a dragon.
Dingus meeps and Scrim.
Show off, Dingus.
Dingus just puffs out his chest and sprays his wings out.
You know how big he is. You should have seen him in the fight. He was flying all over the place. He's like, whoosh.
A couple of the Goliaths look doubtful when Scrim just looks at them and goes, "Do not be deceived by their appearances. She does not look like a mighty dragon, but she can be one if she wishes. I have no doubt that he is indeed a proud, fine warrior."
Watch. Dingus, carrying up. I'm going to put my arm out.
Dingus sort of clambers up your arm a bit, spreads his wings out, tail and legs gripping you, starts to flap upwards and can, in fact, lift you. It's not comfortable at all.
Ow, I regret.
He instantly puts you down, starts licking your arm.
Ow. That hurts.
Oh,
okay.
No, do me now. And one of the guys holds out their arm.
Wait, that was a Scrim that scene.
No, it's one of the other Goliaths. And soon enough, you've got a little crowd of Goliaths that are basically having Dingus lift them in various methods. They seem to think this is a fucking riot.
The tiny thing has muscles. Rules.
Dingus is like, me.
Dingus is enjoying showing off. He feels strong, proud, brave. Scrim is watching this with a look of disguised humor, and he actually looks to the both of you and goes, "Your families, how are they faring?"
Looking over at Gifton because she's got the father you want to talk about.
They're doing okay. I adopted a boy when I was in Zaha. The crazy people had taken his soul and put it in a metal body, like happened to the.
You have one of those? He motions his head towards the Warforged.
They managed to put him back in his body before it had gone. But he is disturbed from what happened. At this messed with his mind a bit. He is scared of machineries and metal people. It is causing a little concern in the household, but we will do best by him as we can. He lost everything, so he has family now. My own children are doing pretty good. They are the terrors of our town, and I can only hope that the doors of my home will keep the rest of the world safe a few more years before they get loose. And
if they are anything like you, they will be a mighty force indeed.
They have already caused a lot of difficulties with their mischief. I did not realize I was that bad of a child. Or an adult. I kind of wink. I believe I would not be standing here today if not for the two I carry. I kind of lightly touch my stomach. But you know about them.
Yes. You are...
I have been soundly yelled at by the Nature Father after combat for endangering myself unduly versus the dragon.
He nods as if like, yep, that's right. Or constantly you can going. And you?
They're doing well. I'm hoping to, after our business this evening, that we have to take care of going home to visit them for a little while before I have to deal with other things.
The world not yet safe yet. What about your sons? How are they doing? Do they forgive me for what I did? Am I persona non grata?
There is no forgiveness to be sought. They... who would not enjoy a second chance at life? They are...
You know, apparently some people get upset about it, and I didn't really give them a choice, so...
He shakes his head and goes, they are happy. They are...
Also, I didn't mean to make them young again, so, you know, that inexperienced caster.
He looked down into his drink and just goes, it is a second chance. I thank you for giving it to us. I can never stop thanking you.
Oh, you can do fine enough by getting back to being grouchy and yelling at me. Remember all the good times on the airship when I drove you nuts?
They would not call them good times.
Would you not call them good times? I thought they were pretty grand.
Yes, it does seem like you.
I mean, we got to have all sorts of interesting, thoughtful conversations, and we got to share some awkward moments. That's pretty great.
An awkward moment, as is this. I am trying to get to the point of inviting you to spend time with my family. Both of you bring yours. Your friends may attend.
Really?
I wish to...
I was gonna ask you if you wanted to come visit us, or we'd find a neutral... I'd love to get to know your people and your family.
It is only right that I host you for what you have done for us.
Are you prepared for that many pseudo-dragons and brownies? That's a lot of them.
Yes, and I promise their safety.
I'm worried about yours.
As long as they cannot turn into dragons like their mother, I'm sure I will cope.
I don't actually know if they can.
And yours, he actually looks at you, Carrick. They will die gloriously, I suppose.
There is still time before my young ones are fully able to visit.
His are still in the shell.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will not make you cut eggs. Once they are hatched and they are able, you have my invitation.
Thank you, and you have my invitation to my home when you would like.
Would your government be comfortable with such a thing?
Oh, I guess as a general of the Verassian army, until such point as they finally take this suit away from me, I have to authorize the movement of troops that I'm familiar with through my area. Shifty eyes. So I'm assuming we'd be fine.
And I believe in the case of diplomacy, they would not
I don't
mind.
use that word. I hate that word.
Yes, but they like that word. So
I do like that word.
if they were to come to us complaining, we can
Also,
use
we're
it.
far enough away from freaking Wyndon. They won't know the difference.
And so that he actually stands up and tries to sort of yell over the dinner celebration and so much. And Tilde, you actually hear him yelling out, "Tilde, Sandsword, over here."
Wait, what was the second name?
Soundsword. Tilde, these people are not creative with their names.
I will look to whoever's
At this point, you know who
with
Soundsword
me.
is, and it's a Warforged, of course, who
Of course.
has very eagerly shown off his air quote invention, which is literally, it is a sword that sounds like he crafted himself, that does ring when it hits something.
Oh, I was trying
And
to help you
he
speak.
did tell you about his memories of his past life, where he was a he uses a word that does not actually exist in the language today, but its equivalency is essentially a musical warrior, a sounder, which is Sonda. Sonda.
Bard.
A board?
A bard actually harnesses the music in magical means. It sounds like he's sort of type imbued weapons and armor with music,
With
which
song.
was a
Like resonance.
which you're well aware that music was a different force back in that incarnation of the world.
I want a shield. I want a song
Yeah.
shield.
Okay. I will attempt to excuse myself from whoever I may have been talking with or such,
Yeah.
and head over.
You get nods. Your chieftain's called you. It's to be expected. You both get a couple of slaps on the back as you head out of this sort of group. And sounds sort of walking alongside you, still chattering away about what's your favorite song? So they have a favorite song.
I am going to mention a song that I learned in very long ago that has been lost to time.
Because I've got a song that'll get on your nerves. Get on.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't think of it, but probably a song from his early days that he barely remembers.
Basically, the walk back will be you humming bars of tunes at each other as you try to compare music. Before you come up on the group around Scrim, and Scrim sort of just beckons you to take a seat. Soundsword just thumps down onto a box here, gives you a acknowledging nod, Gifton and Carrick, as he does to the other Goliaths here.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, not them.
so the Warforged, they are considered to be your people as such, your town beacon, yes?
Cousins, yeah.
A lot of them. Some of this group have asked to come with us. Soundsword actually nods at that.
Good.
I can see why.
Is
Very
this
understandable.
The free people, they go where they want.
so? This is not a problem to you?
That's me.
Nope.
Then
And if anybody has a problem with it back in Barras, they can talk to me.
Scream nods a bit and looks to Soundsword and just goes, "In that case, consider your request granted. Welcome to the tribe." And Soundsword nods and gets up, sort of gives you a thump on the shoulder, Tilde, as if like, yes, before heading back over to the group that you came from.
I'm actually going
You'd be pretty
to
happy about that.
grasp his shoulder before he gets very far, unless he's got a gigantic shoulder or something.
No, you can do it. Yeah.
I I am the superior model. Only
I have the tallest
shoulders.
pauldrons.
You have the largest
But
shoulders. Wow,
no, I'll
motherfucker.
grasp it and make sure he looks at me. You will still always be one of us. If you ever need the assistance.
He looks at you, and there's that glimmer in the eyes of sort of a woeful smile, and goes, "People, not a place, yes?"
Nod.
And he nods, and he'll actually give you one of those sort of half-clasp hugs. He goes, "You ever need us again, brother? You need but call."
And nod again.
And he will head off.
Scrim, how's Dadriel been with you?
Oh, God. He is, what do you call it? A nanny.
Oh, I'm jelly.
Is it because he's always hanging around goats?
Oh, the goats. So, I know that goats, blessed creature, yes. But good food, only he does not like to see the slaughter. He does not like to know the slaughter. You serve him meat, sometimes he eats it, other times he look at it, and he is sad.
Mm-hmm. He is a gentle soul.
Very gentle, but good with some of my boys. Good man, just vexing.
I know he thinks very highly of you and your tribe.
He tells me that we are remnants of, well, his people. He has body like us. I understand times past, but
Yes.
he seems to think we
Yeah.
are something very different.
Well, I think he is looking for connection as he is alone. And I looked down a little bit, and my kind aren't quite what he's looking for.
Yeah, I do not think we are either, but he is welcome nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. He is good.
He's good, but he must stop interfering with hunts.
See it with us.
Arrow mysteriously did not hit target. Trees rustle, wind blows. No, that is him.
Oh, that's amusing.
There is only so much vegetables that I want to eat. I do not care how they are prepared.
Did you know I have a goat at my house because of him now?
I am not surprised. He will rescue anything.
Me and James were going to try to get a hold of a demon to try and get some dark information about something, and Dadriel picked up the goat and refused.
No, that is good. You should not be consorting with such forces. Sacrifice for demons. Bad.
Mm.
You should know better.
She was an old friend. You know.
Says even more that you're friends with demons.
Before
she was an angel.
Angel demon nonsense.
You just take the wings off an angel, and that's what she got, right?
That's how it works.
Yeah.
I will remember this.
I don't think it works if we remove the wings, though.
Yeah, it has to be their god, does it? Their god tears the wings off.
My guess is
Maybe.
if we
I don't
do
know.
it,
I've
they
never
just
really
grow
done
back.
it.
Yeah. Worship of gods. I was it was foolish of me to fall into it myself.
Well, he is a good goddess.
He raises his hand and goes, I do not fault her, even though I have my...
Even though you feel a bit tricked by everything that happened.
Immensely
right?
betrayed, yes. I do, but I do not hold grudge, but...
I'm angry that what she was locked behind was so horrible.
I am... I was prepared to make such sacrifices, but she is not what I thought either, so...
I was supposed to be one of the sacrifices for all of that, too. So...
What I am saying is gods are not worth the trouble. None of them.
You think so?
I have yet to be proven otherwise.
Hmm.
The spirits
People
of the
are
land
looking,
are all
though.
you need. And the people, of course.
Yes, the spirits of the land. They sing to you, right?
Sometimes louder than others. I do question how they led me astray, but I think that is my fault. I misunderstood.
Well, in the end, maybe they did lead you where you needed to be.
Perhaps.
Try not to think about it too hard, I guess.
I have little else to do these days.
What? You've got a people to lead, boys to raise. I'm sure they appreciate getting raised twice. I say with a smile.
I am thinking about perhaps not leading anymore.
Oh?
I am, you hear what they call me? A war chief, yes? I don't have the heart for war now.
I thought you were
This
just a
was
Jarl.
for... I am the Jarl of Jarls, but I am not the Jarl of Jarls no more, no? So I am what I was before.
Why aren't you Jarls of Jarls anymore?
You think the rest of the tribes would follow me now? No. You saw to that.
That's good to know I fucked that up.
It is perhaps for the best. My eyes would have been set on your kind next.
Oh, you did have it in for the brownies.
Not the brownies! The rest!
Oh. Oh, okay.
And also all the brownies.
That's an exacerbated moment.
Delicious baked goods.
Listen, I like to think we're more important than we are. No one ever includes us in their horrible plans.
Honestly, hearing somebody angrily yell, "Not the brownies," is definitely entertaining.
I bet that's great, just going across the freaking camp for a second.
There's a moment of silence before the sound of drinking and cheering comes back. But he just rubs his head and goes, either way, no, I think though the path was troubled, I am where I need to be. I had to lose something to realize what it meant to me.
Yeah. I guess at least you have it back.
Yes.
And you can enjoy it now.
Yes. Although I will say, the one may not be to my taste, but the combat itself, there is a pleasure in it today.
Yeah. There's going to be another one. Maybe. I don't know.
Of what kind?
We have to fight Morgani next.
You would go to battle with a god itself.
If that's what it takes.
She's tearing Hea apart right now.
Huh.
Hea's holding her back.
And if she
The
wins?
rest of the world. And if she wins, she will kill the rest of the gods, and they will not be able to stop it. And then she will be free to do what she wishes with the rest of the world. But she seems set on driving everyone insane and killing them all.
That is what is happening with the ones we fought, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
She's done that to her people. She's done that to the dragons of Barast.
My guess is the dragons everywhere.
Surely she is now matched to the sound might of the rest of the gods now.
They,
Their hands are tied.
their hands are unable to be lifted against their sister. They
Why?
made some sort of grand pact that they are all sealed to, that they can never raise their hands against one another, but her madness lets her attack.
Gods, can they not just undo that?
I don't understand it myself. It seems really stupid. They're looking for champions to fight in their stead.
Looking for others to die for them, I would think.
Maybe.
Still, if you are to fight a god to save us all, I would not bring my men into it, but you would have my help.
I would welcome that if I had the option.
Then you need
Be grand to fight a dragon together, right? Look, Carrick, sorry. Teaming up with Scripture on this.
It is understandable.
They must learn to fight dragons.
Oh, you want to practice?
Certainly. Oh, please, don't embarrass me in front of my men too much.
Alright. I've got a true polymorph level. Who has true polymorph to dragon go fight Scripture?
Okay. Alright,
I
yeah.
can't do what Carrick can do.
Carrick's just gonna watch, actually.
Yeah. No, this is how I'm spending my time for while that lasts. Yeah.
Alright.
Carrick's in bad enough shape right now that Carrick's not gonna even try. Yeah, I know.
Full.
I mean, I could get to full, but Carrick's at 180 hit points right now.
I'm not going to ask you to roll, but I'm just going to say, how easy or how hard are you going on Scrim?
Scrim's gonna win.
Scrim's going to win?
Scrim's gonna win.
Are you trying to disguise the fact that you're letting him win?
Yes.
Alright, in that case, I would need a performance check from you as well.
Alright, I'm gonna burn an inspiration, so I have advantage.
Okay.
And oh wait, I gotta character sheet. Performance, right?
Yep.
Public roll. Advantage.
Okay. Right. So,
it's a good fight, though.
You put on a good fight. It looks like this isn't actually a struggle between the both of you. When he basically, gets the sort of sword to, strike where it would be a killing blow if he were actually, going for such. There's a fucking dragon. This does draw a lot of attention. In fact, I think you might even have a few of the Baratheon onlookers having filtered over here because this is a big site.
Basically, what I'm assuming will happen is my dragon form will pop suddenly.
You let it go as the HP is reduced.
As the HP is suddenly reduced, and then he's got me because
There is a cacophony of screaming cheers going up from his men. You can actually see on his face there is that look of sudden elation, and then there is the eye narrowing.
Genuine surprise on Gifted's face.
There's that eye narrowing of, okay, he knows he shouldn't have been able to do that. And there's that look of doubt cast your way. But before he can actually say anything, a few of his men have actually come up and have basically hefted him up. There's chance of fucking Hayason going up.
Actually, I would have even had a bigger bonus than that because I would have been able to during that throw myself a thing. So yeah, there would have been a 36. So yeah, this was really tight.
That's enough of a performance bonus that I'm gonna say, because Scrim literally knows better, it's just left him in doubt. It feels like a legit win, but he knows it shouldn't be. So it's like, hang on.
I'm just curious. Would it be an insight against that to know?
I know Scrim's stats.
No. For you? I want to roll.
Yes.
Yeah, insight.
Okay.
Insight
Can you
versus
beat
my
a
36. My 36.
Yes.
Go for it. I can beat the 36.
It's hard, but I could. Nope.
As far as you're aware, it looks like Scrim actually managed to beat Gifton. Right. Yeah. So
Gifton will join in with the Hayas if she's gonna act very winded out of it. Man, I'm glad I took that.
Which a couple of the guys actually come up to you as well, Gifton, and heft you up because it was a well fought match.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, the rest of the night has its festivities go on until it does actually get late in the evening, and this is probably about the time you should probably do your meeting.
What about Corvus?
Yeah.
Corvus. Yeah. So okay. Sorry. Split offs on that from me. Corvus.
Yes.
Right, so you went to the ship to find Echo, where no sign of her. at that point, do you head back into town to try and find her, or what do you do?
Yeah, he'll head back into town.
Okay.
Try to just trace steps, try to remember where he all went.
Okay.
He is going because he just wants to keep his sort of vision of things and sort of his enclosed nature be more appropriate to himself. He's going to keep the mask on, the Black Doctor's mask.
Okay. I agree. That's not actually that weird of a sight here. Not that specific one's common, but there's plenty of weird mask decoration and such in this town.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me a. I just want an investigation check from you.
Okay.
Okay. So it involves a bit of asking around and so on, but within about an hour, you do track Echo down. It looks like she's got a couple of Familian guards with her because it's been asked that she be kept under watch. But she is at what looks like a how to describe this? It looks like she is at a research lab of itself, above ground one of the more open public things, and just by looking at it, you think that this might focus on transmutation stuff. You can actually see a couple of people reading through books that, they go into transmutation magic and so on. Not a lot of actual magic going on here because so much of it's actually been expended and used lately.
Yeah.
There likely isn't any spell power left right now. But she is actually just standing by a shelf, reading through a book as you approach.
Find something of interest.
She glances up as you speak up and just sort of turns the open pages towards you and going, "Yes, composition of your form."
Of my form. What does the pages say?
It is listing the makeup of the human form. It's a classic Full Metal Alchemist listing. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yes, that. The basis of it all.
This is a very old book.
These individuals have been here a very long time. They've had substantial amounts of knowledge that they've all had access towards.
It is it's not written by them, though. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Look, she's actually going to sort of go to the front of the book where you can see this is a translated tome, and it seems to list a finder of the book. Original author is unknown, but it was found over in Sahar.
Yeah, I guess, you weren't around at the time, but maybe you have some knowledge from just the conversations. Zaha was an interesting place. It was advanced for its time, but fell under some calamities that pushed it back several decades, if not centuries, in sort of science, society, culture.
This is advanced knowledge. But do you know how they got it?
Out of character, it's really interesting that they have information about the human form when there weren't any humans in Zaha.
Look, she's going to flick a couple of pages back from where she was reading, put her finger on a sort of paragraph and just sort of hold it out to you. It talks about the process of having captured somebody. the magical process of tearing them down into their base components.
That is that's intriguing as far as the means and methods to this, but the issue being is that there were no humans, I guess as we are called.
They found
in
one.
that time, they found one.
They didn't know what it was. They wanted to.
So they tore it apart.
So I don't know how readily available it all is. I haven't pursued any knowledge of the matter, but what I can do in the empty and traveling through, there seems to be instances where time was able to be shifted. I've been to the past. I know my self, the other self, has been to pasts and presents and futures. And same with others who probably had this means. It is concerning that something like this did come up, though.
Oh, I imagine it's more likely to be an errant teleporter.
I don't understand magic that well, to be honest, so...
Someone back then meant to go somewhere, went the wrong place.
Well, I've done that
Or it could be
plenty of
you.
times. That's the troubling theory. Yes.
I think that would be a big coincidence, but...
It would have been...
My brother's world seems to like those.
Well, trying to figure out my place in this world now, so...
Would you do this to understand something?
There's a part of me that says yes, I would. But there's also a part of me where I guess it's the part of me that was me that wouldn't think that it would be an appropriate thing to do. But I still have this idea of doing it. I still have that original concept. It's just the other ones, they probably would have done this and not bat an eye at.
So you're a better person?
In the sense, yes, I would be a better person, but I don't know what to do with it. Now that this is all done, I'm hoping to figure that out. Not be running around constantly trying to stop the next thing from ending everything.
She closes the book and puts it back on the shelf. And just sort of wiggles her finger at the shelf and goes, I'd like to read all of these.
Well, we can definitely start. I'm sure that they would be willing to part with some.
Yeah. She actually looks at you, and there's a momentary smile on her face that seems non-genuine, a little sad. Because I have more pressing matters.
Yeah. What do you think needs to happen with that?
I was just here to try and wake him up. How it happens is hard to say, but I'm starting to pick things up from you and the others and watching all of these people here. I think I'm figuring it out. You want the best for all, yes?
That's the original idea of it. He wanted to understand, he wanted to learn. He wanted to know why we value everything that we have, to see the goods and the bads and the uglies.
I think I'd still like to exist when he wakes up.
I mean, why would we not want to exist?
It was never part of what I am. I was here to wake him up. I didn't matter. I don't matter. I am a distant echo of the being that made me. I am irrelevant. As long as he wakes up and she can see him again. My non-existence is a non-matter. But I'd like to read all of these books.
You have a reason to be here, to learn.
But it's not my reason. It's the reason I've picked up from all of you.
Yes, it's a curiosity. It's what pushes everyone to do something. It's ideas and questions. It doesn't have to be large questions, which I wrap myself in and bind myself towards, but
We
it's,
behave differently based on those around us.
yeah. And
You
we
think-
interchange between them, between other people, and learning and developing from those around us makes everyone who they are.
You think it's a good change? Wanting to exist.
Just, yes. I mean,
I think it's a good change. Wanting to do the right thing. She actually reaches out and puts her hand on your arm.
he doesn't flinch away from it.
Being errant, aberrant, needn't be bad.
It's not, but it's not real well looked upon.
I look upon it fondly.
Well,
Much like this place. It is errant, aberrant. It is not like the rest of the world.
all right,
It's beautiful.
it is.
Helped save it.
Well, yeah, we
Will you-
saved it, but
Will you help save me?
I would want to. I know I haven't.
Then I will help save you. After all this, let's exist together.
That would be nice.
He nods
I-
for looking back into her book. You're a very wet creature.
Yes. Yes, very, very wet creatures.
She looks down at her own hand and goes, so much water.
Ideally, it all stays inside. It's when you don't have that capability, that's where people like me show up. Make it better.
And you think people are bored wanting to sweat?
Will you, help me figure out how to save this form? I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I had more macabre thoughts of this, but I can see the reasoning of keeping the form that you currently have.
It's not hard to be in a new one, but this one feels right now.
So I'm guessing you don't want to be inside Hadwin version 2.
Your aesthetic tastes leave something to be desired.
True.
Maybe I can help you with that.
Well, it was a concept that I had, and an idea, a dream.
You wanted me to serve you.
I don't. In my mind, in my rational or limited view, I thought that what I desired was something that I could inevitably control, something that I could use, something that would give me an edge beyond what I am. That's everything I've ever done.
No. Allies are much better for that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, can you reach for that book up there?
Yeah.
Right, you get down a book she points to that she cannot actually reach. And it is a book on transmutation for a better life.
I think this is more of a psychological book, but there you go.
She will sit down and start reading through this. Do you want to sit with her?
Yeah, he will. He will also peruse the library or whatever this place is.
Yeah. Most of these are academic tones. There's very little in the way of actual like magical formula and so on in these. So they're actually pretty straightforward for you to understand at this point. And what she's reading through is actually a transmutation on the cell for health and other benefits. You pick down one that is it's just a treatise on use of transmutation throughout history in warfare. It's almost dry, but I think Corvus kind of likes that.
Yeah. Analytical.
Yes.
Corvus falls off track of what he was supposed to be doing. Gets interested in this. Wants to find more books like this.
And it's been just some time with Echo, and she basically pipes up when she finds something interesting, peeks over his shoulder about what you're doing.
He will inquire with the keeper here with the tome that was from Zaha.
You find what looks to be a wight who is currently just floating a pencil and just writing something down in a logbook, it looks like. And they sort of glance at you as you come over and just, yes?
This book, yeah.
Yes.
I'm guessing you have copies, or
of course
this is one of a kind?
No, all of these are copies.
Would you mind, would you want something for this?
We do not sell the books.
Do
Would you like to take it out?
So you are essentially a library.
Libraries serve the masses. You have academic knowledge. We serve you. Small library, specific, I suppose.
I would appreciate that.
Do you have a card?
Oh my gods. Cassie!
This is in fact the spirit of the dead librarian.
No. You are
come take this one out for me.
one of the visiting heroes. Let's get you registered very quick. And there's no payment or anything for this. They literally just have you fill in some details. you are given a library card that's essentially they've written it out for you, and just given that. And do not keep it any longer than 2 weeks without coming back and checking it out again, please.
Of course. We
Corpse
will.
never comes back.
That's when another group of shadows show up later in the campaign to take care of the late fees.
Yes.
We will. We'll get this back to you.
Of course. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Is everybody else
looking for the restricted section in that library?
Is everybody else imagining him just holding a lantern? Because the voice just makes me think of like,
Come, the master beckons.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Is everything pretty open here? Is
yes, it does. Looks like there's closed rooms, but none of them have like signs of no entry or anything like that.
It's like they wouldn't put something out there like that,
Yeah,
so people know there was a restricted section.
Yeah, I mean, you can take a look around if you want.
Yeah, you will. See what else is in here.
You find what are basically like quiet rooms. You know, places people can take a stack of books and actually do research work in private. You do find what is like a storage room. It's like books that are being just stored back here that they're a bit tattered as such. They're waiting to be rebound or taken care of, as well as some general supplies and such. Otherwise, there's no like ultra secret corridor that leads to a bunch of trap doors. There's no such thing as a restricted section in this building. Which either means that they're open on knowledge or they are indeed stored elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's like they know the denizens of their own city pretty well.
He'll go back to Echo and says, if you want to, you can take any of these books with you for some time, but we'll have to return them.
I would like that. How many can we take?
I didn't ask that, honestly.
But I would like this one. This one.
Okay.
Can you grab that one?
Yep.
And she sort of crouches down, reads along the shelves, pulls out another book. These.
All right. We'll see what we can do.
Right, so you go back over. There's a bit of a kerfuffle where it's like, you're only allowed to take 3 books at once, but you can get Echo her own library card. And
she can have 3
split it
books.
up, yeah.
Right, and you're able to get that sorted. As you go to exit the library of Echo, there is a donation box on the wall.
Quick, put Echo in the donation box.
Take a book, leave a book.
Is it a coin donation box?
Yes.
Or is it a book?
The coin donation box.
Considering this was a lot of good faith, and this is something that Corvus appreciates versus things that are more regimented and bureaucratic, he will turn over some gold.
Okay, how much are you putting in?
We'll do 10.
Okay, 10 gold, so a flat piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Right, you leave with Echo and your books, and one of the guards actually, that's still accompanying Echo, seems to nod approvingly when they see you do that. And about this time, you know that there is a planned meeting with the magical. And do you want to take Echo to that? Do you want to let her go off? What are you doing?
You mean the mental, right?
Don't mean what?
You mean the mental, not the magic.
The mental.
The mental. You
Magical suddenly showing up would be exciting.
You know that what we battled was the dragons from outside.
Yes, more real.
Yes. We will be meeting one Is that something that you'll be interested in?
She tilts her head briefly, and it looks like she's actually like pondering this. Before she answers it and goes, I can see reasons to go and reasons to stay. I'm interested, but I'm also a little concerned on how our properties might meet.
That is a concern that I definitely have, but I wanted to see what your decision was on it.
Would you take notes for me?
I can. Sorry, I do have to admit that my handwriting is very poor.
You can read them to me later.
All right.
Then I will go look at more interesting things. Will you be coming back to the quarters tonight?
Ideally, yes. Unless some other world-ending event happens.
Then I will see you there.
Alright. Well, I hope you can tell me what you find as well.
She nods before turning to one of the guys and goes, take me somewhere interesting, Lamar. Certainly. And the guys will give you a nod as they start to lead Echo off. This has been their day.
All the books?
Yes.
Ah.
Why don't you hand those off to the guards going with her so that way she has her books?
Lamar?
He pauses, glances back at you.
He holds up the books. Do you mind, since you'll be with her? If
yes, I'll remind her that you're keeping them safe until you see her tonight.
No,
and he quickly sort of starts to lead her off, not wanting to carry books around all day.
Don't you have a spare? Because Corvus, don't you have like a spare bag on you or something?
I do.
It's just
toss it out and then hand that to her.
That guard has Faramir danger sense. He's a person with a pile of books.
yeah. This is not his first rodeo with a scholarly type.
Echo, yeah. If you find something of interest as well, you can have this bag.
You giving her a bag of holding?
I'm giving her my backpack. I'm keeping the bag of holding.
Okay. She'll take it.
A less dimensional space.
Yes.
She'll take it. She looks inside of it, and is there anything already in here?
There's like the basic stuff. But he can take that out. There is a pile of wooden army pseudo dragons though.
She looks inside of it and goes, "Oh, it's so much smaller on the inside."
Well, I'm still, considering it an extra dimensional spaces and you, so don't want to test that theory in the middle of Firma.
She nods for putting the backpack on and gives you a little wave before she heads off. Okay. All right.
Corvus got a girlfriend.
Wow, upgraded from lover to girlfriend. Congratulations.
Nice.
So, you all start to head down to research labs. It takes a bit of time for Corvus to appear as well, but eventually you're all down there. But there's no one else here yet, it looks like, apart from just like a few standard researchers, you know. But after about half an hour, Fowler will appear with the mental in tow.
Hi, Meanie. Hi, Valda.
Hello. And mental tilts their head briefly. Meanie?
Mental just sounds just too fancy.
You make me sound cruel.
Oh, I thought it was kind of cute.
Meanie. Meanie.
What could we call it? What would work?
Perhaps many.
Many?
That sounds very hive-like.
Yeah. No. How about Neenie?
How about you have a couple of syllables of my true name?
That sounds dangerous.
There's little you could do with those.
Yeah,
Oh,
it could be
to me,
literally
at least.
any letters. All right, what syllables can we have?
You can have tell. She looks at you, Tilde, and smiles. And you can have sha. Tell sha.
Hey, sure. Tell sure.
I was really hoping that she'd awkwardly say tell and day.
She pondered it.
E-tier Griffin.
Men.
Oh, tell day won't work. What about core?
How about I let you
Bus.
have men tall.
Man.
Shit. No, that's all right. Let's put something in front of it. The fuck.
All right. Tulsa, right?
Yes, that'll do for now.
All right. Well, hopefully you got situated all right.
Yes, I was given a box to be in.
Ah, a box like many other people who live in boxes.
Yes, it's very cute. So this form fits in it nicely. So I wanted a different one.
You wanted a different form or a different box?
A different form. I don't like wearing the.
I would ask, is that something that you're going to maintain, or
No, I don't like it. It's very disconcerting inhabiting your family.
never done that before? So not sure. Would expect it to be great though. At least, from a mental
Yes.
aspect.
So, we're here to discuss the safe resolution of the situation with my mother. Am I correct?
I believe so.
This lab is horrid. Do we have chairs that we can use? Found I can grab some of the stools.
They don't believe in comfort here.
Yes, they're all. I'm stoic and dead.
I mean, you've got to use for it when you do not have the nerve endings that would be required for it.
Knees start to grind
Don't
horribly
encourage
after a
them.
while, though. Fowler says in some good, decent humour as she just pulls a few stools along. Right, so. I'd rather not mother be killed, obviously. And frankly, the just imprisonment, I don't think will lead to much in the way of mental recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Killing her also brings the admittedly pragmatic side problem on our part of she's the one that blessed our kind with magic, and her going removes it from us as well, so I don't think her death is anywhere in our agenda either.
Now, I think that is in part our fault, in a way. Not just... Hang on. And she actually sort of looks about on the desk before getting up and grabbing some paper and charcoal that's down here.
When she started to look around, Jax actually would have calmly pulled out his notebook and pen and just shoved it across the table.
Something bigger. Want to show the class.
Are
No.
we in a lab so we can take readings? Is that what's
Yes,
going
do
on?
take notes.
Is there like a giant whiteboard? Has that been a thing yet?
There's one that's currently occupied, a blackboard.
Blackboard.
And there is that look on her face like she's tempted to kick the person using it off. But she doesn't.
Is there another lab here? Can we steal one from the other lab?
We could go into another room.
Jax also will have notably taken out I think they're called dragon shards or something like that, the things where you can recite to them.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna go poke my head
that he has,
over and
and-
see if there's a clear blackboard.
He will pull that out and just been basically reciting notes and reciting what people are saying to it as well. Or
Mhm,
can it just ambiently pick up what other people are saying? And
You'd have to recite to it.
okay, yeah, he's just reciting to it basically to get notes.
Fowler will actually take you into some room so that there is a blackboard available, which is basically
Cool,
you
I'm
sit
gonna
down
do
to have a
the thing where
discussion and then have to get
I'm
up
gonna-
again.
I'm gonna get up, I'm dragging my stool like that way that it makes noise.
One of the
all way across
researchers
the
over
floor.
here gives you a troubled look.
I appreciate my work.
And yes, so the mental starts to basically draw some little representations on the blackboard. This is just a thing of this is my mother whole before us, and then she sort of does a line, does another little symbol, and then does 6 splinters off, which she just marks with a little symbol to represent her, the rest of her siblings. She created us by imbuing some of her essence into the stars as such. Actually, points of the outside leaking in. It's a whole different realm of physical properties, but what this did is, well, imbued us with life and might beyond all others, except, us and the gods. She shakes her hand a bit. Power scale was a little off in places. But it did take from her, and soon enough, we were cast out. Because we were influential at the misdeeds of youth. She smiles. And thus, we were gone. But not eternally. You see, they have to re-strengthen that prison every now and then. And they do that during their little cycle wipe, But every time we get a little closer to pushing back through, more of us leaks in, if you understand.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates dissonance. Our mother feels us, but we are no longer part of her. I think this started to happen when she first created us, but it wasn't really understood at that point. It didn't last long enough before we were chucked out. But we're apart, and she just starts to draw a little sort of squiggly line between the markings of her and her siblings and Morgani. And it creates a terrible feedback for her. A maddening one. That just grows over time, and she makes those little squiggles grow greater. And, of course, proximity increases that as well. I think now that a few of us are here, it must be quite bad. But I am quite certain that if you did, and she basically brings those little markings, redraws them directly in contact. Just draws a circle around them. No waveform between us. Nothing to destabilize. Contact. Nothing wrong. A bit more than just contact, though. A conjoining.
So you'd go back into her?
No. More link with her. I don't want to stop existing. Believe me when I say that. If the fix was for us to return to her entirely, I'd probably be fighting you tooth and nail. But existing alongside the being of ancient knowledge, and still having my own mind and thoughts to me, well, that's not so bad. I'm suggesting that instead of just imprisoning her alone, you seal her with a few of us. Create a more stable being. Gestalt being.
That stands to reason, and that does admittedly fall apart of what we had learned on our own of plans we had previously.
Now, I know this sounds very shaky, I'm just drawing symbols here, but if you'd like, I can show you the actual mechanical workings that makes me believe this would work. You see, this is the formula that shows the destabilization between us based on the existence of this metaphysical space and distance, and she starts to write out really fucking complex formulae.
She's the mental.
And she, if she's allowed to, will go on for a lecture for a good half hour on this.
Kirsten is going to stay quietly listening to this, but probably does not have the look that she has a clue what any of those symbols that are being drawn on the whiteboard mean.
She actually will be fully engaged in nerd shit.
Yeah. Anyone that wants to try to understand this, please roll me an intelligence check.
Oh, I'll try, but it's not going to get anywhere.
Hey, Cass is dumb!
I'm gonna. I will preface. I think Shaxon might be one of the few who has a chance to see the list because the DC is 40.
40?
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Actually, even with a max, I can't actually make it.
Okay. Well, roll still to see how high you can get, because, not understanding the whole thing doesn't mean you don't get bits of it. Hey, look at that!
I will flash mine up to a 28.
Okay, 28.
I'm seeing what kind of tricks I got.
Right. Corvus first. Like, some of this makes sense. She's using words that mean things, and there are points that you can see some correlation, but the larger sum of this is lost to you. Telde, Shaxon, and Carrick are you
That's
Can I
30?
have thrown a guidance for Carrick? Because I probably would have picked somebody, and it wouldn't have been me. So
I would have thought you'd pick Shaxon, if out of all people.
Yeah, I'm also going to burn a card for a reroll to see if I can get it. Actually, hell, let's just do... I'll burn both my cards to also get advantage.
Okay.
Empty out my stock.
Go ahead and roll again with advantage.
Yep. Make sure I get it set.
Yeah, but you can throw it on Carrick if you want, but I think if you're trying to get somebody academically to understand this better...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I can...
Really helpful advantage there.
Yeah, I can flash myself to a 35.
Okay, 35.
And guidance is 1d4.
Yeah, so it'll be just short no matter what.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 37.
37.
Yep. In that case, Carrick and Telde, like you're grasping this a little bit in Corvus.
If you want to try a bardic.
I'm not sure I can justify.
Telde just plays a strum towards Jackson. This is fucking boring. Simplify it for me.
Do you think you got it? Nudge, nudge.
Yeah, you're grasping this a bit more than Corvus is, but it's still that sort of, when you understand the subject enough that you think it makes sense, even if you can't explain why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shaxon, it is so close. Like, you're not entirely sure what that formula there represents. You don't know what that symbol is, but like this makes sense. You can't guarantee it, but yeah, maybe
It's a Far Cry more involved than anything we had actually put to paper before.
Yeah. To her credit, Fowler looks like she's struggling to follow the list as well. But she's sort of nodding along.
If we had a short rest since the fight,
Yes.
Yeah, I think we would have.
I unfortunately can justify this. Shaxon, add another 5 tier.
Hey!
I get it.
Right, Shaxon. Not only are you following this is opening up a whole new world to you. This is by and far beyond any current science. She's talking about principles that haven't even been established yet. But even with this sort of lack of understanding of foundations and laws, yeah, you see it. You see the shape of this. You see how this works, how this interacts, and on a physiological and metaphysical sense, this is a sound plan. That's not a guarantee that it will work, but her logic has foundation to it.
It all checks. And checks will actually at that point be asking like pointed questions towards parts and that, and like.
Yeah, so that
basically-
half-hour lecture turns into about an hour one, as she actually does go on tangents based on Shaxon's questions. Like,
She probably gets suddenly excited because Shaxon actually seems to know what she's talking about. So she gets excited about it.
Yep.
and towards the end of it, she is talking at Shaxon. She's not lecturing all of you anymore.
She does also get to see that moment of the penny drop of him, the last piece falling in the ice when he did get it.
Gifton has doodled something on a piece of paper during this time. It's a tree.
Nice.
I was gonna say that is really inappropriate. How are we doodling that?
But basically, so in the end result of this is her and the rest of her living siblings melding with Morgani to form a gestalt being. Even the physicals involved in this as a sort of gruesome metaphysical cement. They're using the properties of his physical form.
Frankenstein's
As
monster.
the only one who has as the only one who I think has an actual proper physical form.
And notably, the nothing is left out of this calculation.
Understandable, given that there doesn't seem to be much way we could really get it in.
That and out of character, adding nothing into something is probably the equivalent of multiplying by 0.
Yes.
I'm just not sure though. How do we know that you won't just become in control of Morgani and your siblings at that point?
True.
None of us would be in control. That is the point. I mean, she smiles softly. I might be more persuasive. I could talk them into something, perhaps.
You are very persuasive.
That I am. But
Especially for
What
the
about your mother actually trying to assimilate you back in herself?
a concern, to be sure, but if you look here, and she's pointing to another spot on the board, you can see by this that our combined, how do I put this into more layman's terms, our concept of self, essence, perhaps, our
their
essence.
fortitude of self basically gives them enough individuality that they're able to withstand being able to be reabsorbed while still being a part of her.
Yes. Now, as you do see
Your
here,
brother's situation, has that made this worse or more difficult?
she pauses for a second and actually looks a little bit grim. Easier, actually.
Because he
was
probably
Nod.
wouldn't have consented, because I'm assuming you need consent.
No,
I don't think his mind was in a state for it.
I need neither consent nor does his mind matter. The simple fact is I would need one of us to act as a
Binding agent.
binding agent is not quite correct. This existence, all of it, includes your realm of death. The gods extend across all of them, and we would need a binding agent there.
You need one that extends into the realm of death to be able to tie that as well. Otherwise,
Yes.
leaving one out causes a hole that cannot be repaired.
Yes.
A foot in each world. Interesting.
Indeed. Now, you are quite justifiably concerned about creating something nastier than the current situation, yes?
Yes.
I would posit that dealing with Morgani and her madness, and each of us individually posed against you, is a much riskier endeavour than us being one sound being that has to discuss and decide on action. And on top of that, we'll give you about, and she just writes 150, 150 years of us gestating to become a whole being while we are imprisoned.
All right, and would you, in fact, in this concept, at all mind erring on the side of hopefully trying to reason out that maybe horrible vengeance shouldn't be visited upon us and our
I would like to think that in our interactions you have learned that I am a being that is a good advocate for the continued existence together through sharing knowledge and advancing each other.
I believe very heartedly that you are, in fact, very concerned about your own continued existence and the things that would, prevent
Their
that.
existence would be mine, unless I would not want any threat drawn against them, unless I would not want them to provoke any threat.
Okay, so you, in fact, would use that, but I'm just saying you would, in fact, advocate against such behavior because of that.
Of course.
Okay.
And
Cool.
I guess his spirit would.
The spirit is
Also,
of like mind, although I will admit spirit is a little more manipulative than I am. I would not put it past them to have their own goals in this, but, well, what person is not multifaceted?
Mm-hmm.
Because I would postulate that, I'm going to try to use a big word there, that you would, in fact, at that point count as almost a new entity, even though you were comprised of several individual entities. And I don't know if you'd be held to the same limitations that Morgani had previously had with the gods.
It would indeed be a new thing.
Yes. So
but as far as I understand it, that's something you're all trying to create already, isn't it? A new world, new rules.
Mm-hmm. But it's also kind of scary to think that you're making something that was already trying to kind of blow everything up again. But
Then
I guess we have to
your
hope for the
resource
best,
is to
right?
kill her, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Nobody wants that.
So, Are we agreed that this is a good course?
I am also mind seeing the math for it and the logic behind it.
I don't quite
see no
understand
reason.
the whole
At
thing,
this point, the doors open and James comes hurrying in, looking a little out of breath. Sorry, I'm late. The shipment came in. It was an event in itself. Forces are getting along well together. That's great. Glyphs and Brassians interacting on wonderful shared love of meat and booze.
Oh, good.
But what have I missed?
Very, very fancy
All of
math.
that.
Now, Shaxton, you want to run him through the logistics?
Jax will give a dumbed down version of the thing, like put into easier terms to understand.
Huh.
Which might also help the others as well.
So half-hour lecture.
Let me give him a roll on this because
I'm giving him guidance.
Okay.
I am out of boosts, so
I'm giving him guidance, and let me see if I have.
the guy's a
anything else
D4, right?
Yeah, D4, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a 31. Okay. So
He's getting a 40 because I'll flash him.
oh fuck. Okay.
Oh my!
Right. So you bear yourself to him, and this
Wow.
brings the last revelation he needs. Wow, Jesus! I did not expect him to. This. He actually pauses in your explaining and sort of wanders over with you to the board to actually look directly at the map of it.
Mm-hmm.
Starts playing on the chalkboard with everybody else.
Yeah. Which, man, smart people, they're so annoying. But
It's great too because the mental's just sitting there going, people
yeah.
talk to.
And eventually he just steps back from the board, like running his hand through his hair as he just, this could work.
Mm-hmm. I think that's actually a very good shot of succeeding.
You'd be very powerful.
That's my
I mean-
concern.
I mean, they already are very powerful, and each one of them, speaking in very frank terms, each time fighting one of them would wear our resources down further and further and further.
It's
Do
true.
we know what some of these resources already do, and we don't want to create more of that situation?
We would be strong indeed. But I think that is worth approaching in the idea that we'd be emerging on amicable terms with all of you. I would have time to talk them down, as would Mother once she has regained her sanity. I'm pretty sure she'd be fine. And if not, you have 150 years to come up with a contingency plan between you and the rest of your gods.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be alive in 150 years. All right.
Oh, you might be.
I suppose that some of us will have to take care of it if it comes down to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be relying on you till day.
Winks at Cassie.
The just as a feign of curiosity,
How would this affect the heaven?
We should be able to hold it stable. I of course have the math to tie in the heaven stability to the crystal prison itself as we're forming, and frankly, once we're emerged, supporting it would be no effort.
I mean, we've got some weird logistics to work on here. Like, what would the magic want us to do with their egg during that time? I mean, it would be here.
Should be part of our discussion with them to come to a terms of doing this peacefully. I would rather that we
Use
did
it as
this
a
as
bargaining chip.
yes, peacefully as possible, rather than forcing them into it.
I mean, we could put the egg back into stasis until you fully emerge. Maybe? I don't know.
Whether they decide that, or they wish to just know that their child would flourish in this world while they're gone, they might be happy to see a lineage when they emerge. Or perhaps they want to do the raising themselves. We can ask them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're going to be open to talking as a dialogue?
I think with me and Spiri coming forward to talk, and Yes, I think I can get them to the table at the very least. Mentioning
Yes,
of the
I
egg
think-
would be a good way to do that as well.
What do you think, brother?
Probably also stressing the fact that we are not the ones who took it.
He
Since some creatures are very long-lived.
he looks over at you, Gifton, and just shrugs a bit and goes, I think we've been flailing in the dark trying to find a solution. She proves to be a threat. And he actually looks at the mentor when he says that. We do have time to plan.
This isn't what grandson wanted us to do, but I think it's a better path.
I mean, after a fashion, it is partially. Is adding in more, but it is definitively getting the metal back into Morgani in a matter.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, how
Just
much
as a
trust are we
safe part
putting in
puzzle.
what grandson wants at this point?
That's what I'm
Was this
wondering.
Raz saying that?
What was that, Corvus?
Was that Raz saying that?
Yes.
Okay.
What do you think, Corvus?
But he stares intently at Corvus.
This seems plausible. I mean, it's the less aggressive route. It's the most hospitable. It's what everyone eventually wants, right?
I suppose it's a case of, do we want to guarantee that we win, or do we want to put out their hand in hope of a better path for all?
Oh, why did you have to say that word?
That has been our route so far, is it not?
I think the better path is the wiser route, especially because I feel we have more of a guarantee of this turning out amicably than the route that killed them all.
And we already know that, as I mentioned, there
Right.
are consequences to going down this other route, not just in the death of these individuals or in the end Morgani and the fall of the heavens, but if
The tools-
we are to do this, we will need the means to do it.
The tools we were using,
Well
and we've
enough.
seen the toll they take on reality.
Exactly. And
I think the one thing that we're neglecting and the thing that we need to be considering is we have to put this before the gods. We told them that we would try to find a way to save Morgani, and that I voted for this chance. They need to know what's going to happen to her.
Mm.
She is their sister. They're staying their hand at our request.
The mentor actually hisses through her teeth. The gods don't like us.
No, they don't like any of us.
So if they say no,
we just have a different issue.
well, where does that put us if they say no? Do we go into conflict? Do we go against their wishes? I do not mean this as a threat. I genuinely do not. But
You would rather us ask for forgiveness than to ask permission.
yes, and I would rather not fight you. That is where other paths lead. I want me and my siblings to live. I want my mother to live.
We know that there are individuals within that group that do have very strong animosities towards you and your mother. They will probably be the most aggressive in any dissent that we will ask for forgiveness.
I mean, we never did say that we would tell them how we were going to fix how we were going to save Morgani.
You say there are
either.
individuals amongst them that would agree, perhaps, that you can trust?
Are you suggesting that we speak to them specifically first and gauge whether to reveal it to the others?
I say we ask Talon.
The just one.
Yes. We are not bound by anybody to, as you say, tell them what's going to happen.
We could also ask Hea because Hea actually holds a grudge.
Hea is not in a position to be distracted easily right now.
Yeah.
She is stronger than I have ever seen her, but she is being torn down. And I am very scared for her.
I also believe Hea would trust us to make the decision.
How about a bit of good faith? Your hair is struggling. What if me and Speary were to aid her while you got counsel from the others?
I think that would go a long way to instilling
Is there
trust.
any way you could find out the state of Morgani's heaven for me?
I think Speary could, perhaps.
That makes sense, given his role.
It has been a curiosity for a little bit.
Shall we move forward on good faith that we are going to do this? But I would like to talk to at least some of the gods that we trust. I think we should talk to Talon.
If I remember correctly, Talon was one of the ones that agreed with us.
He did vote to save Morgani, I believe.
And he is the one that voted for imprisonment rather than death back in the day.
He is a just person, and I don't think we give him enough credit. I would seek his counsel on this.
Then,
He knows his brothers and sisters better than anyone else.
in that case, she actually looks over the Fowler. I think, a week to gather the necessary materials to begin construction? Fowler nods. Then we agree together to go forward on this, and you have a week to discuss it with your gods.
Not. Valda, by the way, have you told her that she's got a visitor coming? You know, Lysol?
You'll have to remind me as a DM. Which way around was this?
We were told by
Imor wants to visit.
That's right. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Fowler actually.
I wasn't sure if we were invited to be there or not.
Fowler actually nods and goes, perhaps this is a good time to get word from her whether she wants this to happen, and you can take it up for your meeting. Up, down, another plane. I don't know where they really situation themselves.
I don't even know if Talon would agree to talk to me or us or anyone. So we'll
It
see.
seems you frequently do have the ear of the gods.
I have the ear of Ilyn. Ilyn's very receptive.
That is more than most of us have. So
yeah,
It is true.
I tell you what, I'll go talk to Lysol. I'll see if she has decided whether she wants this or not, and then I'll tell you to take word.
Right.
Mental
right,
puts her hands together. In that case, we're agreed. Yes.
We're agreed for now.
She picks up her chalk again, and just writes project on the board. Taps her fingers on her chin a couple of times, and goes, "No, our old word for it." And she just writes Tiamat.
That's
a weird word.
Well.
Well, that's certainly a good omen.
Hello, Dragon Queen.
I mean, it's fitting.
It is.
She already was.
I mean,
She just was the combination technically of both of them.
Right. Yes. So
before when everyone kind of scatters out or something, Chorus will want to talk to Mental for a second.
Okay. Well, before Mental, everyone scatters out. She sort of writes it down and looks at everybody. If there's anything else anyone wants to bring up before they leave, please feel free.
I'm going to. This might be the elephant. It might not be. we were worried about the emotional trying to take vengeance for the physical.
Oh, yes. Yes, they are going to be quite displeased. One of the reasons I want a different form.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
that would probably be a bad one to go. How do we get you a different form?
Hey, sister, look, I'm wearing your brother's
Do you just
body.
need permission from somebody? Is it like an angel thing?
No, I need some particularly resilient elemental aspects to it.
Ah, okay. Good luck with that arm pat.
Yes.
At least think of what some of the components would be.
Well, indeed. Falda was kind enough to start taking them down for me earlier. And she's going to basically dig out a note that is, it's a long list of a lot of metallic compounds.
Literally just says Hevday's body underlined 4 times.
We can bring you an arm.
There's a lot of metallic compounds. There are some like items that are found specifically in draconic bodies. Some chemical compositions, scaling, and so on.
You mean the things that are in abundance outside the door's walls, probably right now?
Yes, indeed. It's a bit of an esoteric list. Like, this does not, to your mind, say living being, but it's apparently what she wants.
There's at least some living being in there.
Shax will actually just be nodding, going, well, I can definitely help making some of the metals because I have skills in that front, and I can also help with scavenging some of the draconic parts from outside.
Oh, that would be quite wonderful.
Mm-hmm. And I do apologize for being so apprehensive.
Oh no, it's understandable. I mean, I have been forthright in how our alliance is happening. It's of happenstance, but it's the right course. So, being nervous about that, it's wise.
Mm-hmm. Sperry was right about you. You're one of the better ones. Sperry folks feel very highly about you.
No, I appreciate that.
Mental, if you have a second, I have some other questions.
Indeed. Well, I'll see you all around, I suppose.
I guess.
Probably not, but, you know.
Likely not. I have a feeling Valda's going to keep you mostly to herself and probably Shaxon.
Frankly, I like to be undisturbed in my work, so, in that case, you'll understand that I'm saying, I'm saying with all friendliness that I hope I do not see you unless we have to have discussions.
Goodbye.
She nods at you, and she'll sort of take you aside, Corvus. What can I do for you, Mr. Adalas, correct?
Yes. You are, I'm guessing, aware of what I am or what I represent?
Yes, she sort of reaches a hand up briefly before pausing, going, can I have permission to touch you?
Yes.
Her hand just sort of lights gently on your cheek, and there's this disconcerting moment where a clawed thumb, like, sort of brushes over your eye, not quite touching. Oh, well, you're sort of what I'm aiming to become. You're a mix of things. I can see the remnants of, well, Corvus Adalas. You're a continuation of self. One of many, I'm supposing.
Quite many different ideals, but yes.
No, she waves a hand. The ideals are always sitting there in each of you. It's just environment that changes what you will do. You're also, where did you come across a Nazov?
That's, well, I'm actually...
That's a remarkable duplication.
Yes, I do have that. I originally had that, right. I actually want to make contact with them, and I am thinking of learning their language of one avenue, but considering that you and your siblings may have transected those boundaries.
Imprisoned, though. They didn't get much chance to communicate with anything out there.
Oh.
So if you do learn the language, I'd be quite delighted if you teach me.
That could be arranged.
Marvelous. And yes, the rest of you, it's not the properties of this place. It's a replication of the matter and form of these people, but well, if you understand that different realities have different compositions, you'll sort of see it.
Yeah.
You are a remarkable creation.
Well,
Any quirks?
Thank you.
Any misfirings of nerves as such? Or are you quite perfect?
This is getting now a little bit more concerning in conversation, to be honest.
He misfires whenever Gifton hugs him.
Yeah. No, as far as I am aware, I am behaving and of accordance to what I have always been.
Well,
But
yes, it would be physical things. I mean, you are a continuation. You're not something else. But, oh, good. No random finger twitches as such. Everything's in alignment.
well, those tend to happen, but they're of my own accord. It shows the arm.
Sorry, oh, I need some of this.
I can.
I'm kidding. I don't want your arm.
No, yes, not my arm, but I do have similar tools and may have access to acquiring more.
Oh, no, don't worry about that. I don't need this. I was trying to jest. You're quite on edge.
It's been a very troubling month for me.
Ah, yes, the looming of war and all that, right?
No, that was actually the biggest break I've had in my whole existence. So.
Well then, what? Please state what you desire. I'm not good at idle conversation.
I want to know more about what's beyond what we are, to see what we're going to eventually try to get ourselves involved with. And although
I tell you
have
what,
contacts in that regard of the one they mention as grandchild and the one that is following me around as Echo, they can only seem to express so much because they are in a state of semi-consciousness.
It's not just that. It's... I'm fully conscious, but translating there to here, be it in words, thoughts, or feelings, it's difficult. There are some parallels that simply cannot be drawn. We're not talking about visiting a different country. We're talking about an entirely different set of physical rules and properties.
Right. And I think, not currently an issue, but I don't know if I'm normal for a human anymore. Like, I don't know if I'm going to live a normal human life, which is going to be
oh yes, you're going to die.
Thank you. But
your age, gracefully, I think, by your features. You'll perish like everybody else because, frankly, you're human. You're just made with a few different bits. If a building had to be made out of grey blocks and somebody got, light grey blocks, would the building be not a building?
It would still be a building.
Or human. And trust me on that.
My concerns is that eventually that's going to happen. This place, this world, and our rules and our laws are going to shift. Because ideally, I would hope that we will no longer be in this state, but in the state beyond.
Yes, I recommend any transition you make on such a matter be done in a way that adjusts your own perceptions of things so that it feels like nothing changed.
And how do we, being what we are, achieve that? That is my goal.
I mean, that's a good question. I'd have to think on that, and, well, if this is a genuine plan on all of your parts, then I will need to know the methods you're considering. I'll tell you what.
This is a new development beyond everything that has happened. This is nothing that I don't think the rest of them truly grasp yet, and I don't either.
Then I'll put some thought to it when we're not working on the more pressing matters.
Of course.
Try and catch me when I'm not working, which won't be often, I will admit, but I won't push you off. And we'll see what we can think about. Do jot down your own thoughts as well.
I have intention of doing so.
Marvelous then.
And hopefully, if I can, see if the Azovs can come to an understanding with myself as well. And we can have a conversation beyond trying to bite my head off.
Make sure that your friend that's going to teach you the language, make sure she teaches you how to say I'm friendly.
Yes.
And make sure it's not I'm tasty with ketchup.
Yes.
Okay, hopefully we can have this conversation again before, I spend 150 years in a crystal.
Right.
If not, do try to live long.
Out of character, I will. In character, I don't really know that yet.
Eat your vegetables.
In character, you've got to start thinking of ways to live past 190 or whatever.
Eat more vegetables.
Yeah, out of character, immortal. So, right. Well, hopefully, yes. We'll try to work out a communication going further.
Yes. Right. Goodbye. She nods and
expects that you leave.
Yes.
And then Corvus leaves. And he's just like, all right, yeah. Off he decides.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talsha would like you to leave, or Talsha would like you to leave.
As you head out, James will come with you. Fowler sort of bids you all a good night as she actually stays here to, try and plan out material gathering and so on. Well done on finding another solution, I suppose.
Or another solution finding us, I guess.
Yes. Time
Creating a different one.
Time to start planning contingencies for if some horrible, powerful god emerges from that.
Well, I expect, dear brother, that long after I'm gone, you'll be here 150 years, and you will fight that good fight.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Or are we both going into retirement and leaving it to the next generation?
That's a nice way to think about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do I have to know your children better so that they know me when we have to deal with the problem?
Are you thinking that you're going to need a Brotgren to help you in 150 years?
For a couple
Seems very helpful.
I have a feeling that there's no way I can avoid having at least 4 Brotgrens with me to deal with the problem.
The Brotgren Company.
James, can you believe the slander that's being thrown in my direction?
That's actually...
Slander?
Yeah, I mean,
no, that's quite accurate.
I mean, it's not...
Company.
It's not that accurate. It's probably going to be half of them.
I also expect at least one of his children.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I'm hoping none of my kids go into adventuring. They could do something fine and noble, like pirating.
Do we have to bring up one of yours that already is adventuring? Or trying.
Okay. No, that's fine. No, that's fine.
Having what little experience I do around your children, I don't think you could stop them from it.
They'd be amazing pirates.
They would.
Frankly, what I'm hearing is each of you needs to have a descendant that can go onwards to save the world.
No. Why? There has never been a Brockgren involved in saving the world before, and there need not be another one.
How
Well,
many
the world
times
has
have you
ended multiple
done
times
this?
before, so if you save the world
We
this
don't
time
actually
round,
know.
then we have proven that
It
a Brockgren
says
is
precedent.
yes, it's a necessity.
Well,
You'll
then
be like a good luck charm.
we'll also need a Rizal then. You know that, right?
Oh, well, do have some children with Razem then.
She is of his bloodline.
Yeah.
You know, one of these days she will smack you. I'm waiting for that day, I'll be honest.
I would never strike James.
Whatever.
Mm-mm.
I'll have to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
That's
point
just-
where she just turns and goes, Carrick, smack James.
That makes at least one of you.
I mean, attempts have been made.
Unfortunately, at least for me, I have a funny feeling I will still be in my prime in 150
Oh yeah,
years.
so
I'm
you're a
guessing.
dragon. You're gonna live forever.
Yes.
Yes.
No. I
Actually,
hope not.
aren't most of you planning on doing that? So you'll all just be here in 150 years anyway.
Great, I'll be saving the world alongside geriatrics.
Perhaps we
I
could bring
mean-
Thal along. They were fun.
Now listen here, Sonny. Don't get
I have.
Do you plan to just
I have
becoming a
fun.
young woman again and again, Cassie?
Cassie's
Sorry,
gonna go.
everyone just went robotic.
Oh no.
Give me a second.
Yeah, we just keep dunking
Beep, boop,
Cassie in the de-aging pool.
That's
over and
true.
over
All we
again.
have to all you have to do is go pay a visit to Dingus, Lord Dingus's
Ca-
waters, and everybody can refresh.
Cassie's actually
know.
going to be younger than
Everyone's
every.
garbled.
Let me change server.
Mhm.
Okay, we're on a different server now. Any better, Cass?
Much better.
Yeah, all we have to do is dump everybody that needs to go into the pool a few times in Lord Dingus's lands, and all will be fine.
I have been wondering ever since taking that water to grandmother how my age works. Because don't
I would assume
dragons.
yearly.
Well, dragons usually are based on how old they are. Do I.
Frankly,
count
I
as
think you just have an assumed form. We'll have to age your dragon form at this point. How do they do that?
I would assume there may be another pool.
No,
There
as in judge his age, not actually age him up.
old?
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean that if he gets to be like thousands of years old when he assumes his half elf form, he'll still look like 20-year-old Carrick if he doesn't do anything about it.
Perhaps. Frankly, I've never really asked. You know who you should
Are
ask?
dragons like trees?
My
If you cut them open, do they have rings?
No, they have certain growths of internal organs that you can touch through a very invasive measure.
Oh,
Few dragons I did ask about the assumed form changes. Did not take on the other questions.
It's the projectile sac that they have in the throat.
dear brother, do you think Talon would actually answer if I try to get a hold of him?
I think one of his angels might.
All right.
It depends whether you want to go through the Holy Choir or if you want to take a more direct approach, such as Ilin or, well, yes, Ilin.
Yeah, Ilan. I might try going through the official form because I think he'll appreciate that.
I think he would. Decorum is a bit of a thing.
The type.
A bit of a thing. So I'll try putting out a. Do we want to meet? We probably shouldn't meet on Morgani's land because that would be very bad, right?
It is a bit of a faux pas.
Yeah.
It would seem to be a bit crass.
I'm heading back to Beacon. I was gonna have Dingus open up the door to my house. We'll just leave that somewhere. That sound fine? You know, in case there's an emergency and anybody wants to go back and forth.
Good idea.
As in, instructor goes, I imagine they wouldn't mind it being up in their little command center.
Yeah, and if my brother were to happen through at some point, that would be fine.
Listen, I have sorted out all that delivery nonsense, and I am not an enlisted man, so as far as I'm concerned, I can go home now.
Yes, I know. So you're going to come home now, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go for this command room, and we'll go slam it down up there, and then we'll go see if we can ring Talon. Anybody want to come along for seeing Talon?
I will.
I know you want to go home.
Going home, so
I'm gonna head back to the cabin at the ship.
At the ship? All right. We're gonna need to make plans for that because I have a feeling I'm gonna be leaving that here long term.
You're abandoning the ship?
Yes, I think I'm gonna abandon ship. I think what's left of Hexenreich could really use that. I mean, they might need it to scout for a good place for them to actually set up, when things get better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you wish to break it to Scarlet, or should I?
I mean, I think she'll be thrilled. She can finally retire.
Oh, if she can finally go home. We've got to
Or
pay
she
them.
might be upset that she's not making good pay anymore.
We got to pay them a lot of hazard pay.
Will you turn over the ship to Costner then?
Also, one of you lovely people gets to figure out who's paying the bill.
Turning the ship over to Costner, that's not a nice thought.
Or if Saxon wishes to take command of that?
Do you want it to be for Miriam property or Hexenreich property?
I'm not sure
I will
yet.
say the Baratheon government will likely object to it being left in Hexenreich hands. They might have issues with Miriam hands, but I'm sure that could be swayed.
I think if I leave it in Vermirian hands and they can use it to assist the refugees, because I understand they will want those refugees off their doorstep at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume they would use it to good use there.
Mm.
And if it ever ends up back in my hands again, fine. But I'd rather it do some good here. I doubt we need it to go to Enos Aflac.
That would be quite the flight.
Yeah.
And frankly, with that place, your form of travel will suffice.
Yeah, it's not like we're having to deal with something quite as obtuse. So yeah, let's go up, use that, and we'll see if we can. I'm gonna start ringing on the choir. I will be very humbly and say, I do not know if any of the Great Lord Talon's angels might have the time, but I wish to have a message relayed to his lord if any of them could meet me in Barast in a bit. I am trying to get off of Morgani's continent, so I am not someplace distasteful for them to meet at.
Okay, Gifton. There's a moment where there's a few seconds pause before you hear that distinct sound of angel radio directed directly at you.
Oh, I've never gotten a private message.
Yeah, this is new to you.
Yeah.
And you just hear a voice answering you, just saying, "I will inform my lord immediately. You will have your answer shortly."
All right, and then I will have Dingus open up the thingy when we get up in the room.
Okay, when you get up in the room, Wilhelm and Lufar both nod to you all. Wilhelm's actually waving to you as he's talking on the radio, describing the grand way he fought in a battle to somebody. You're not entirely sure who. Wilhelm did not fight in any battle.
Wilhelm didn't leave the room, as I recall.
Yeah. Notably, he's not letting up on the button that lets the other person respond. He's just talking.
Hey, Wilhelm.
Yes?
Who are you talking to?
Oh, some ne'er-do-wells.
Oh, my kids?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Don't tell them I'm coming home anytime soon. By the way, I'm leaving a door up here. That
he looks at the radio where he's kept held down, looks up at you and just sort of says, "I won't."
Okay, well, it's going to be very unfortunate when the doorway opens in the kitchen and they could actually come in here and actually get you.
He lets go of the radio button, which then lets you hear some excited yelling from the other side, and he just goes, "Why are you like this?"
She has been like this the entire time we've known her.
That is a question you're never going to get an answer for.
I'm gonna open the door wide. I'm not bothering closing it. Go to the other side, opening the
I
other
will
door
be
wide.
elsewhere taking care of very important business, Wilhelm says as he's getting up and quickly retreating into another
He's getting
chamber.
away.
And Luther just watches him go before he looks at the rest and goes, "Enjoy your time at home."
Thank you.
And do screaming as the door opens.
No, they've got to get through an entire fucking food room to reach you, and they're very
Yeah.
small.
Yeah.
Small and very distractible by things like the food room.
Or opening the door to the food room.
I'm not convinced that the little bastards they've already been throwing fireballs. I'm not sure one of them has learned thaumaturgy yet.
Yes. Okay, most of you are heading back. I know Corvus is staying. Is anyone else staying?
Just imagine
Well,
them
I gotta
casting Gust
deal
of
with
Wind to clear the
the
food.
Goliath.
Oh, your date.
Yeah.
Jax is probably only going long enough to be there for the talk with Talon and then going back.
Yeah,
Because
that's
he's
why I
got
figured
enough
I'd
Reaper
do
stuff
this.
on his plate.
That's why I figured I'd leave this door as an option so people
Yeah.
weren't.
So, do you want to go with Cass and then return for your Goliath?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we can be there for the meeting.
Okay.
Everybody wants to see Talon.
Yeah, Talon will even see us.
You've headed up with them, Corvus, because you want to go see Echo. Did you want to do the same? Did you want to go through and then come back to see Echo, or are you just going straight to Echo? Because two-way
We go
travel
straight
is
to
possible.
Echo.
Okay, you go straight to Echo. Right, Corvus, you can indeed depart. Any fun farewells to your friends?
See you short places then.
See you. It's going to
Oh.
give a very sad look at Corvus as he departs when his back is turned.
She
music,
just
please.
hates seeing him go.
Such a flat butt.
There's just nothing to look at.
Okay, right. Corvus departs, and you can all go through the food room. Dingus is going to he stops riding your shoulder as you're walking through the food room. He walks along the table, taking bites as you move. Like he's becoming a pro at this.
He's like Pac-Man.
But then the doorway opens up, and you are instantly assailed by a flock of pseudo dragons and their tiny companions as your children mob you.
Yes, I'm going to enjoy my children for a minute and say, okay, well, mommy's going to stay home, but mommy needs to go outside and have a meeting with somebody that's a cousin, maybe.
Was Rez coming with us?
Yeah, Raz is
Yep.
coming home, so Raz is with
Yep.
us. Here, look, Uncle James. Who wants Uncle James?
Should we choose which one is going to be the heir right now, Raziel, or would you prefer to do so later?
Oh, it's definitely Faldia. Raz's ankle is being hit by Rinson, who has a wooden sword.
This one shows spirit.
Raziel's refusing to look down at him. It's just a tiny voice going, "I'm beating you. I'm beating you."
None of my children are going to save the world someday. Mark my words. None of them.
You also get assailed by your husband and wife,
Yes.
who will give you a lot of attention. Between sort of rounding up kids, it's an excuse to stay with you as well. But after some smoochies, you can. Where do you want to do this meeting? If you get your reply,
I'm gonna go out to the tree line, not far from my house, because we want to be not in Beacon proper. Because where I live out, I live out as the farthest farm area in Beacon anyway, so I'm already kind of removed. So I'll just kind of go out to the tree line and kind of wait.
As you're sort of getting your children resituated with your parents and care and so on, you hear a voice on the angel radio saying, "My lord wishes to meet with you. He asks if you would like him to come to you, or whether you would like to visit his domain."
Options. Do we want to go to Talon's domain, or do we? What's the most appropriate thing to do at this point, Rizal?
I think, given what we were going to be suggesting, being on his home turf might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, also, we don't want to risk him losing his temper.
How about I will reply with whatever is most convenient to his lord? How about that? So I will reply whatever is most convenient to his lord. We are grateful for his response.
There's a sort of approving tone to the voice as you hear. I will let him know immediately. Before you get a reply of, my lord was deigned to visit you if you are accepting of this.
Of course.
Please choose your place of meeting and then let me know.
I am going to reply in a very humble way. I apologize, and I would ask if you could, in fact, give me a good counsel on what place would be most appropriate to meet with your lord that would not... I do not wish to cause trouble. I'm usually in the woods. So would it be more appropriate to be in a dwelling?
Well, my lord has a preference for places of societal meet, calm rooms and the sort. He is well versed in meeting people under grounds that they are comfortable with.
Garrick, maybe your tavern.
A library?
Okay, yeah, the library, that'd work. All right. There's going to be nobody there at this time of night, right?
Could be.
No, not at this time.
All right, yeah, so we're going to grab everybody and go to the library.
Okay.
Somehow we find out that the Warforged.
It's a nice, quiet meeting room, and you have those big reading tables. So
it's really funny that you said that, Carrick.
I know my callings.
Yeah.
So,
so yeah, Beacon just has a nightlife, like a permanent one, because like for 4 hours of rest that they scatter out over time, there's Warforged up at night. Thankfully, yeah, the library's locked up, but there is like a band playing outside of it because it's one of the larger areas away from people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're approaching, they you get some, you know musicians when they give you an acknowledgement but don't stop playing. And yeah, so
they do that little bit of a flourish with their instrument.
A trombone is like extended out towards you with a note.
I like to think that there's this shared look of confusion between Telday and Gifton at the Warforged with the trombone.
What, the man that bought a fucking magical thing just so he could play wind instruments again? Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, passion don't stop nothing.
Yep.
Can't stop.
Yeah, stop, won't stop. All right, so we're gonna go inside. Is there nobody in here so we can just light some lights and...
Yep, you get your candles lit back up.
Yep, and we'll say, we'll pass on that. We think we're in an appropriate place.
I'm leaving a note for the next duty clerk that yes, there were people in here, and yes, it's fine because it is me and guess, and we will try not to leave a mess for them.
I'm leaving a mess.
All right. Okay. So you get things sorted out, and then you send word that you're ready. Okay. When you say that, are you doing this like in big library proper? Are you using one of your side rooms? What are you doing?
I'm going wherever Cassie thought was most appropriate.
Probably the center of the library because it's the most open area in case he wants to come in big.
Okay, going with that.
And if need be, we can move off to a side room.
Okay, all right. In that case, you send word. The angel acknowledges you, and then after about a minute, you hear over angel radio the rather ominous-sounding "My Lord" approaches, which is accompanied by footsteps just coming out from like towards the entrance, even though you didn't hear that door open or close. And around one of the bookshelves walks, well, you've seen Talan before. He's dressed in rather official looking. You've not, well, first time seeing Talan then. He is a severe looking man. He's not as large and ostentatious as he was in the heavens on the previous meeting for everybody else. Like there's just something about his form that's more subdued. He is wearing what looks... Actually, Gifton, go ahead and give me a roll with your tailoring kit, please. Just to recognise something.
Oh. My tailoring thing is pretty great. I get advantage. And I get do. And then did it roll? Yeah, 37.
Yep. Okay. You recognize this immediately as the courtly dress from the land known as Cyrus. Sirus. Which is a Tarnstead continent. It's just sort of robes is the wrong direction. It is like a jacket, but it's pressed, it's ironed out, so it's got a very straight down to the ground look to it. It does cover the legs, just slight cuts in the sides so it can, the back and front can move with the legs.
Clifton is actually going to move into a humbled curtsy, and keep her head down appropriately.
He actually returns it with a sort of deep bow, one hand behind his back, the other straight across his stomach. He does not come out of the bow, but he looks up at you and goes, "Thank you for inviting me to your library."
Thank you for accepting the invitation, my lord. Sir, God. I don't know what the appropriate wording is. I'm sorry.
He has to go on a bow and go, "I thank you for gracing us with your presence in my humble library."
Now, you may expect that I operate on strict formalities. That is not the case. They have their time and their place. As such, it gives a soft smile. Perhaps we can dispense with them now, if that is acceptable to you all.
I believe
yes.
Acceptable.
He straightens up again. Right then.
Party in the library!
Loosens a tie that wasn't even there a moment ago.
Yeah, he straightens up and he does look around and he's just nodding his head approvingly, and he goes, "You put some thought into where to meet me."
It was Cassie's idea, actually.
This is your building?
I've never. Yes.
It pleases me to see when a warrior also values knowledge.
I see myself more as a carpenter before a warrior. I see myself as a fighter last and a maker of things first.
Well, warrior, carpenter, librarian, all three are very important to the continuation of society. So, may I ask why you have asked for my audience?
I'd seek your counsel. I'm afraid we don't really usually get to. We haven't had the best experiences probably interacting. I apologize. We probably seem like a bunch of impudent assholes. Is probably the way to say it.
There's that sort small smile on his face that suggests it would be rude of me to say.
It might be an inappropriate thing to say, but it has a ring of truth to it, I think.
It is also true that you have made many decisions over your course of adventuring. He says that as if that word is slightly distasteful to him. That have benefited others over yourselves. You have tried to improve things, and don't think that goes unnoticed.
It is true that we have reached a point that I feel like we need somebody with an even view of everything. Somebody who would
you are looking at me to act as the scale and balance.
If you could at least be a sounding board of reason, that would be good.
I was curious why you had not contacted one of my brothers.
I'll be honest, I go to Illan mostly.
And quite aware.
But you understand the reasoning there.
He nods as if, yes, he is a savage.
Yes. Oh. That's not what gifted meant at all. But we have dealt with one of the first dragons, as you are all probably quite aware of, because I doubt that was...
That did not go unnoticed.
Yes, that did not go unnoticed. We have been talked to by the Mental, one of the other first dragons. They have put forth a plan that we believe would most definitely secure and save Morgani. But it would be possibly making a greater threat later if the combined might of the first dragons and Morgani were to change their minds.
He raises an eyebrow slightly because I think you will have to explain exactly what you mean.
I'm gonna look at Shaxan. Can you kind of give a dumbed down version of this, or what's better version for the god?
Shax will step in and actually explain the idea and the parts in that.
Okay, so you go through and explain it. And you don't actually need to go into the exact, details of it. Just the general concept of combining them into one being.
The sweeping motions.
There is a look of concern on his face, and he doesn't cross his arms, but you do see his posture changes. Like his hands settle one on top of the other over his stomach, arms just resting on his own body, and he looks down briefly.
Path involving a lot of trust.
And do you trust them?
I trust that they want to continue to live.
Self-preservation is a immense driving force, and can put those of immoral character to a better cause.
And finding help when you are in dire straits can also soften a heart. So I would like to think that it would be a positive experience on a whole if they were aided. But
one thing I would like to clarify, in your discussions with her, do you believe that the state that they have put Morgani in is an unwitting one?
I do not believe that they would cause Morgani to be in this state on purpose. I truly believe that because it hurts them. They need her worshippers as much as Morgani does, and I am very concerned about how Morgani is going to be, even if we are to save her through another means, because her continent is wiped out of people who will love her, and I do not know if the world will love her again.
Then their crimes, which they are in my consideration, what they have caused, are unwitting ones, which would lessen sentencing punishment for a mortal being. And I think all of us to this day now must be held to the same account. So they are not without. They have still caused problems, and they must answer for that. I think perhaps we could consider the redressing of Morgani's state as a step towards reparations. So the plan itself and letting them do this, I would approve of. However, there is still a concern of whether they will hold true to peace.
And there is also the concern of, currently, I believe you and the gods all have a balance of you can't go at each other because of agreements. And
Morgani is not accountable for this, and I imagine the new being shall not be either.
Yes, and so I would think that you would need to make inroads that the new one will need to be included in that.
Or we must make roads to dissolve the agreement entirely.
Why hasn't the agreement just been dissolved, considering the state of things?
It requires each of us that agree to it to do so, including her.
I see.
She is in a loophole state, I suppose you could say. She has control over the agreement, and yet is not bound by it. It is vexing. I am trying to find a way to stop it without her, but it is not as easy for us as simply waving a hand and it is so.
Well, if this new being was to come into existence, would it then
It would undo
her-
the old agreement, right? Because
It
Morgani
would remove her
wouldn't
from it.
exist anymore, right?
I cannot say without knowing exactly how they turn out. If they still have Morgani within them, if she is still an independent thought, then perhaps she will still have sway over the agreement. I do not know if she will be rebound by it, but there will certainly be aspects of her that are not. I would hope that if she is bound by it, then the whole form would be, but I have no guarantee of that. What I would like to do is dissolve the agreement entirely if possible and create a new one between all of us. The rule of not
All
acting
of
against
you?
each other, all of us. Here, Morgani and others. The rule
What
of not
my
acting...
children?
I was wondering if you'd bring them up.
Come on, you know about them. So, I mean...
You have time for them to, for a moment, he actually looks awkward, to come out by whatever means they do. And this new agreement would be formed in, what did you say the time was? He looks at you, Shaxton.
150 years?
150 years from now.
You would have 150
From time of
years.
sealing.
They would still be young, and we do not know if they will form like us or whether they will need to grow. I understand that I would like to include them in the agreement, but I would not push it if they are not formed and able to think properly.
I think the 150 years is to allow them to gestate and come out as a fully thinking being again.
Jackson, I believe they mean my
Her children.
Ah, yes.
Not Project Tiamat.
So, I will say that I would consider your children a welcome addition to the agreement once they are, you would term it as, mature.
I request, sir, if I may, that you watch out for their best interests in such agreements for me.
He nods and goes, I hope you trust that I would not take any advantage of them.
That's why I would ask you, sir, because there is
And you have nothing to fear from me, and I will make sure they are not taken advantage of by the others.
Thank you.
Now, I think
but
it would be
we
wrong.
weren't sure if we should let the other gods know of this intention, or if we should bring it to a vote, or what would be appropriate. There is times in our lives when it's more appropriate to ask forgiveness than permission, and we're concerned that this might be one of those, because it might be in the best interest to let this happen, but I don't also want to sabotage this new life of Morgani's.
He looks aside briefly and goes, I am of justice and order. I am of society. Part of me has to admit that such actions are part of society. They are of necessity. But I am distinctly uncomfortable with being part of such things. So what I will say is that I would request that you achieve a majority vote from the rest of the gods to go ahead with this.
I feel that is fair.
I will... And there's a look on his face as if this is a pain of, like, ill deed, of deceit, an immense mistrust of his own position. I will trust you to obtain the permission in whatever way you see fit and to inform whoever you think to inform.
A majority is sometimes only the ones who know about it. I say, not looking at him.
Being said around him,
Yeah.
not towards him, around his vicinity.
Who would you believe might be most acquiesce to this information.
Well, Aaron, of course, he would do anything for you. I think perhaps Miris, I think he is playing a big game, but I think the game involves you.
Oh, I think it involves other people other than me, but I'm in there, I'm sure.
Tamari
If
wants to
it
see her
involves all
sister
of
live.
us.
You could get her vote.
All right.
You will
Pretty
have
sure
mine.
Haya would listen. Mm-hmm.
1 second.
I think it would be Mayuri.
Mayor voted against.
He seems to actually be deep in thought. Let it split. You would need one more to be certainly comfortable. It is a risk, but I think you could convince Orlon. Orlon or Mayuri. Mayuri would see the threat that could emerge from this, and she would be concerned. Her idea is to protect us all, but she also wishes to protect her sister, and this may be a way to do it. It is hard to say which way she would go.
I still get a vote, though, right?
And if you wanted to argue that you can't allow so I would say that it is valid.
You said I counted last time. So.
Indeed. There is precedence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I just don't know.
what does Lala still vote?
Well, still votes in favor.
Then you need not approach Mary or Alan. Or if you wish to not play Miris' game, you may choose one of them instead.
Mm.
Yes, your short bet. Tamari, Heya, Ellen, me.
Thank you. I appreciate your counsel. I realize you're a very busy person.
Tell me when you have the agreements, and I will make it official. We will meet as a group, and the judgment will be passed.
All right, we have like 2 weeks to get this done. How fast do gods work?
We have 1 week.
1 week. Oh, even less than I thought. Okay.
Would you like me to gather up a council?
If you could.
And
I
you will
don't
hear
know.
from me within 2 days.
Thank you, sir.
He nods and gives you all a deep bow again. And I thank you for your hospitality.
Yes, and I thank you for any of the impudence that we may have shown you. Well, I may have shown you in the first meeting. I got kind of unseasonably emotional.
It is part of being immortal.
Mm-hmm.
Do not take shame in it.
Yes, but I can try to do better than that.
As a Kenway, I am learning.
Thank you again, Salon. And I looked at anybody else have anything? Oh, sure.
Karen's just gonna kind of give a bow. Thank you for meeting us on such short notice.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Also, your Dolpwood chapter has some really amazing priests in it.
It does.
Yes.
I am giving it time before there is any more spiritual presence in that town. I think it is seen enough, but in time, I shall send a blessing their way.
Thank you. And also, I know she is not in favor, but Shuriel was one of the kindest angels I've ever known.
You know of Turiel.
Yep. She loves Zaha.
That she did. Enough to disobey. That taught me They are held to stricter rules than mortal kind. I think you may understand why. But
I do, but
what she was doing was... And his voice was silent for a moment. Just...
she was doing what she thought was the most right, and
You know
I
how hard
think
it is
there
to
are-
represent society in order and justice.
Yeah.
Law is often not just.
no, because law isn't dictated by every circumstance. It's hard like that, I'm assuming. Is there any room to reform how angels are handled in such a way?
Yes,
There
law must
any
be
way we could-
revised to be just.
A path of forgiveness, if they're still at a path of accountability.
I can say it is something I believe I must look into. It is an issue that will be addressed.
Thank you.
Also, the denial of my brother. That's very funny. He nods at you, Cassie.
Hmm?
The denial of my brother, very funny.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Hefte did that too.
Yes, quite vexed that day.
I'm really feeling bad for the Amorian angels that keep getting beat up by people unnecessarily.
Yes. Not a good one, that one. Yeah.
No.
Then I bid you all good night. I will call on you soon.
Yes.
And he is going to bow his head to you all and turn and leave through the library door.
All right, Cassie, it's your job to figure out how to get Orlin on our side.
You want?
Orlin liked you.
Are we sure that he still will?
I hazard a guess that they either like or dislike, but I can't say that Orlin really gives a shit about the rest of us.
Mm.
We do know Orland knew about Cassie and was going to let Cassie in the gate.
Who do we know of Orlands that I could even remotely try to get him in touch with?
Pray.
Same way she got in touch with Tlon.
Pray.
And clap enthusiastically. It seems to help.
Does. I wonder when they're going to start teaching that in churches.
And I'm going to point over at Carrick. You, lover boy, get a hold of
Tamari.
Tamari.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Wait,
I'll
it's level 10.
I'll talk to I can talk to Ilan. Shaxon, how do you feel about maybe having a quiet inroad with Hea?
I can give it an attempt in amongst the other things I'm going to be working on.
And unfortunately, the person who has the most attention on them from him is Corvus. But Telde, maybe you could try Miris. Miris might listen to you.
That could be an interesting conversation.
I mean, it'd be a very one-sided conversation, it sounds like.
Yeah.
from
And
what
I
I've heard.
guess I will at some point commune with Lawlessil. Good luck, everybody.
Alright,
Is that just staring down at your belly?
I'm gonna just pray to myself for a bit. I hear an echo.
yeah.
No, it goes back
so-
in Premier.
Does everybody want to try their contacts now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, everybody give me a religion check, please. Except you, Gifted Ilan's gonna fucking appear no matter what.
Oh, I thought you were talking about because of Lawless. I'm like... No, I'm gonna just ask as a weird thing.
Mhm.
Do you, any piety amounts give advantage?
Yeah, I'm gonna say
I-
that each +1 in piety is a natural +1 to the roll.
I'm gonna give
Plus 9. Take it.
guidance to Cassie to give her an extra chance.
Right, roll a d4, guy, Cassie.
I need to skill stuff.
Please roll a 4. Yes.
Okay, 18.
I'm modifying. I'm putting a little thing in here because someone has Tamari piety.
Jackson should have an easy time with Haya. Haya loves us.
I mean, I'm the one person who has no Haya piety.
I know, but Haya just
Like in the entire party.
You know what? I'm gonna throw this card to give myself advantage, because why not?
Okie dokie.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I have the most at 58 Haya piety.
Most likely.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell Date, that's good.
I do have, and I don't know if it'll affect your where I place things.
I do have to go AFK for a second.
Okay.
Be right back.
Run.
I need
So
to as well.
okay.
If I need to. I have that also.
So I'm guessing that no, you're fine. I'm guessing that most people are doing the thing of seeking audience, yada yada, in their prayers.
Yep.
All right. A couple of different things that can happen. Carrick will disappear, seemingly in a sort of swirl of blossom.
Wow.
A visage of hair will appear, which and approach Jackson. Telday vanishes. No real effect to it. He's just gone.
He just suddenly isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
There's no shimmer, no nothing. Just
my brain tells me he's still there though.
We all looked in one direction. We turned back. Telday's gone. Who knows?
Which Jackson is taken aside by Haya. She's basically an adult now, but she looks tired incredibly, and she just goes, "What is it? Is something wrong?"
We may have a solution for fixing this, and Shax will then go into the entire explanation of the thing.
There's a clear distaste on her face, but she looks at you and goes, "Have you all agreed to this plan?"
We have, but we are seeking counsel with the gods to gain your all approval of it as well.
You know, I trust you all. If you need my approval, you have it.
We appreciate that, Lady Haya. Thank you very much.
She nods there and goes, "Is that all you need?"
And as well, the mental and the spiritual have offered to help you in safeguarding against the attacks of Morgani to ease some of the burden you're bearing currently.
There's a slow nod from her. I think it's necessary.
I will tell them that and ask if they can give you it as soon as they can.
She nods and smiles faintly at you. Then I will see you soon.
Best of luck. Thank you.
And she vanishes.
Jax will also then quickly bounce to... I'm pretty sure I can call on Speary just by more or less talking to him directly from the connection I've got.
You think so, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try and do that as well, to try and pass a message and get that ball rolling quicker as well.
Okay, cool. You get that passed on to them. As you are, Cassie, it's been a few minutes since you prayed. A couple of people vanished. You've seen a little conversation with Haya between Jackson. Gifton, you actually hear the direct voice of Ilan in your mind. There's no angel or anything.
Wow, that's
it's loud mentally. You just hear her. I'm just dealing with a thing. I will be with you in a moment. I promise. Are you safe?
I'm safe. What's the thing?
I'll explain when I get there.
It's probably the werewolf that's been rampaging across extra.
It is the werewolf.
I guess right.
Yeah, we never did take any steps to go clean that up.
I thought we were letting it run wild and free.
We're about to end cover, so go ahead and go to bed.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just going in and out of consciousness here.
Cassie,
Yes.
Your poor library. As you're sort of standing there, people having gone and hey, having come and gone, there is suddenly a crack and bolt boom of lightning as appearing like some goddamn superhero from a bolt of thunder that scorches the flooring.
I'm still there. I'm gonna scream
yeah.
and fall out of my chair.
Appears all on in full armor, pointing a dulled sword at you. You can quite visibly see it's dulled. And just goes, "You wanna talk? You owe a fight to me, girly." And that's where we're going to end the session.
Damage the fucking floor. I'm going to mop it with his fucking face. Yuli, I would like to change classes for a single session.
I want to be a monk.
Janitor?
No, I want to go full on barbarian again. He ruined my library.
Right. Okay. Everybody take 4,000 experience points. You all can take your standard piety, and each of you may take 1 piety from each of the contacted gods.
Oi.
Oh.
Well, there's a new rank up.
Wait, does that means I got a Lalathil. Cool.
Not a lot of cells.
Does that point go to Faye?
Sam,
No.
we got you, piety.
Does she get a point of twins
That's
piety?
Yeah, you can have a point of twins piety. It'll be back for the future.
Ellen.
If I'm not starting with 20 from the twins, we're having a real discussion as a parent relationship here.
Uh-huh.
Only 20? I figured you'd be.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it
25.
dips substantially when they hit god puberty.
Everybody take a point of Tamari piety, a point of Hea piety, a point of Ilan piety, a point of Orlan piety, and a point of Miris piety. Oh, and a point of Talan piety.
Yeah, we had
Where
Hea,
am-
Ilan, Miris, Talan, Tamari, Lalathil, Orlin is what I had written down.
Yeah.
So.
I don't actually have Miris. That's I actually get to get one of those. That's a new one.
And we will do this
Missing.
same time next week.
I don't want to write